Hello, and welcome to the Radiant Shadows campaign here on the Meeples and Dragons channel. We're an actual play 5e D&D campaign. We've been going for just over a year now.
What?
I know.
Wild.
That's weird.
Amazing.
Did you just say amazing, John?
Yes, where does the time go?
I was going to say it was more the complete and total lack of any emotional state whatsoever in that statement.
That
Amazing.
was incredible.
Channeling his Tiernan.
I can't believe my excitement for this. It's amazing. My name's Ham. I'm the DM for this little off the rails thing already. We'll do a quick whip around of everybody who's playing. For those of you who are maybe here for the first time, then we'll do a summary from the last session and we'll jump straight into things. So I'm going to throw straight to John.
Yes, because you always do that. Hi, I'm John from Meeples and Dragons, and I'm playing the Shardfolk Artificer, Tiernan de Palan. And nothing really to spruik with the store this week, but Saz and I have been playing Baldur's Gate 3, and we will continue playing Baldur's Gate 3 and dying on air on Monday and Thursday. I'm gonna say Thursday. So check us out.
Awesome.
Right on this channel. So.
On this channel, right here, where we are now. Awesome. Kate.
Hi, hello, I'm Kate. I'm hopefully back with less potato internet. I fought it all morning, and so fingers crossed I don't turn into a disembodied voice and a robot again. I have nothing to spruik, really, because I'm all spruiked out for basically everything. I think this is the last stream I'm on for a little while. Yep, I'm refusing to spruik both the thing that's coming up at PAX yet because I don't have my rights to my music and it's really stressful. Yeah,
That's right.
So we're just going to pretend it's
taken
fine.
care of. It'll be fine.
It's fine. It'll be fine. It'll be
We're
fine.
going to dance.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yep.
Excellent. Heath.
We're all fine here. How are you? Boring conversation anyway. Good everyone. My name's Heath. I am the Antipody ND20. You can find me on the socials as the Antipody ND20. This is excuse me. On this lovely channel we have here, I play Grumpfel Greystone, a deep gnome cleric of the life domain, who's a little bit more than the bumbling uncle you perceive him as, and I am having an absolute riot playing him.
Outstanding. Cass.
Hi, I'm Cass, or Shadowmere. I'm play Miera Greenleaf, the sweetest little halfling, and I have nothing to spruik or promote because I don't really do too much.
Cool. Awesome. Very cool. Excellent. And last, but by no means least, Mr. Methian.
Probably a bit least. Yeah, I'm Promethean. I own a PlayStation and don't play games on computers, so I just exist being jealous of folk who can currently play Baldur's Gate 3 until it comes out on my console next
All this
month.
violin, mate.
Yeah. I here will be playing Dwergar Harrowfell. The Dwergar Harrowfell. Oh my god. Delgrim Harrowfell. The Dwergar Ranger. Hi, I'm fine. All is well. I'm not going to spruik other stuff though, but you can find me literally everywhere on the internet. So
yeah, you could have even found him last night on the internet as well. He was doing all sorts of fun stuff there too. Lyrics all over the place. Cool, awesome, excellent. In the background, we've got Saz, who's the other half of the Meeples and Dragons. Saz does all of our awesome production work. She makes sure that we all are here and we're doing what we need to do and that all the technology does what it has to do. And generally, she's incredibly awesome and cool and great and lovely. So I think that's it. I don't think we've got anything else to sort of spruik. Everyone's sort of done their thing. Feel like it's the calm before the storm in regards to this year. We've had lots of other things happening this year with people doing stuff and events, and it's going to calm down for a little bit, and there's a whole lot of other stuff, and then it's going to get to that time of the year, and it's all going to be chaos and pandemonium. So we'll enjoy the nice chill ride as it stands now. So with that, we'll leap into a quick summary from last session, and then we'll jump straight into the game. So last session, in the light of a new day, Miera, Grumpfel, and Rowan, who once again had bamfed back inside her ring, were awoken by Taris, urging them to be quiet and advising them that troublesome visitors had arrived at the Alton's estate. Gathering their gear quickly, the three heroes, along with the hobgoblin nobility, snuck to the front of the house to find Lady Daria Alton engaged in conversation with Ned Traderson, a member of one of the other noble houses located within the Dragon's Heart. As they hid in a small side room, they overheard him say that he saw Tiernan and Delgrim save the Altons in the theatre, and also saw Grumpfel and Miera engaged in conversation with them after the fire, and then climb into the back of their carriage. He felt it was only appropriate to let Lord Malagarth know of this betrayal, and that he was there to search the house for the fugitives. Despite Lady Alton's objections, Ned pushed the matters, his mercenaries waiting eagerly to ransack the mansion in search of the heroes. And then the party overheard Ned say something, else, and then the sound of a dagger being driven forcefully into someone's body. The briefest of gasps disclosed it was Lady Alton on the end of the blade, stunning our heroes and Taris, her daughter. But as Ned shouted for the house to be searched, the halfling unknown leapt into action, grabbing Taris, and made a daring escape from the property, stealing a pair of horses and riding headlong through the front gate and through the streets of the Heart.
No black tablecloth. Sorry, continue.
Making their way to the gates out of the noble quarter, they found them bent and twisted from the previous night, and despite a number of the Earthbreaker guards trying to stop them, managed to escape, racing out into the streets and into the early morning light. Meanwhile, Tiernan and Delgrim, pondering the next steps, wondering if the others had escaped, and finally settled on the idea of heading into the Rat's Nest, a safer and easier to hide location, and see Ori, and find out if there was a way out of the city that wasn't through one of the main gates. The other two, being Miera and Grumpfel, came to a similar conclusion, spurred on by Taris's urge to find her brother Gil, who she thought was most likely in the nest as well. Eventually, they ditched the horses and headed to Ori's house, one of the few people there they felt could be trusted. Getting to her home, they filled in the somewhat startled older woman in the events of the previous night, what happened with the Mystic Delirium, and of the fire at the Wormshadow Theatre. With the rest of the group finally arriving, the party finally found themselves together again, and even Rowan finally emerged from her ring. After brief further discussions with Ori, they discovered that they could potentially get out of the city by the old sewers that ran through that part of town. With Miera then handing over coins from Aloysius' stash to Ori and urging her to get out, along with Lestwell's siblings, the party made for the Cloven Horse Inn to try and find Gil. Alas, further heartbreak was discovered, with the group finding out from a cold-hearted patron that Gil had been hunted and killed by the Wolves, the Traderson's mercenaries. With a trail of death and destruction behind them, and the sole survivor of the Alton's house now turning to drink away her sorrows, the party must decide what to do next. And we did leave off basically with everyone at the bar at night. Some people heading towards serious inebriation, and all of you pondering what to do next.
How strong was the alcohol?
Sorry?
How strong was the alcohol we were drinking?
How strong was the alcohol?
Hmm.
Very, very potent. You will recall that it was called Dragon's Breath. Basically, it was a type of whiskey, but it was also probably could be used as like paint remover or various other kind of things like that. Very, very strong.
So do we need to roll for that?
This is entirely up to you in regards to what you guys basically, how do you want to finish off the evening? So Taris at this stage is, she had been handing over gold and buying everybody drinks. And she was basically just downing them whilst focused on essentially nothing at all. I know a few of you had also indulged. She'd bought drinks for everybody.
I think think Delgrim might have had 2 already because I passed over mine.
At least.
So, yeah.
Tiernan
So-
had 1.
I was sipping on my shot like a
That's
like
right.
it was an actual size drink.
This was your shot glass.
It's my shot glass.
What is
And
in that glass?
Grumpfel will nurse and sip as well. He's trying to go through the fun of the last 24-ish hours.
This is still in the morning, isn't it?
This would have actually been actually that's a very good point. It probably would have been at this stage maybe about lunchtime.
Okay. Well, I'll lean over to probably not Delgrim, but who's sipping the drinks? Was it Miera?
I'm not drinking.
Not drinking.
So it was Rowan. Rowan was sipping hers. Rowan and Grumpfel were the ones who were sort of nursing them. I believe Delgrim was doing more than nursing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm leaning over to you two in particular, and basically talk to the side and say, "Oh, the innkeeper indicates that the only real way to get out of town unseen is to go through the sewers, and there's a sewer access just behind the inn. Well, it's a tavern, not an inn, isn't it?
It's a tavern, yeah.
It's a tavern.
There's no accommodation here.
Yeah. So, are we taking her with us? What are we doing?
Sorry, can I just clarify who exactly you are talking to? My
Grumpfel.
audio cut out and
Okay. Tiernan is speaking to Grumpfel
Mhm.
and Rowan.
Cool.
Because you two appear to be nursing your drinks.
yeah. I mean, I don't know her, so I don't not have an opinion, but I don't really have an opinion. I don't know what she's like, really.
For what I've seen, she's honourable, and I do believe if she remains in town, something bad will happen to her.
Can we still
This-
rely upon the Altons when it comes to Greenfields?
I don't think there's a plural in that surname now. Not to be heartless, but there is. I think, unfortunately, the new Lady Alton, her estate is going to be quite restricted, if not confiscated. Is probably the best word. I believe that if we are to help her, we need to get her out of her. And Grumpfel saying this very quietly and kind of behind his hands. We need to
There's-
get her out of town.
There's a lot of power in a family name. Like the whole purpose of it.
When the lineage continues, yes. If the lineage does not continue, there is no power at all.
Well, I'm concerned. Like, I don't know, Kira, and I felt like we didn't really know the Altons. We were going purely on recommendations, but I am still concerned about Greenfields and what this whole thing is going to go down in Harrow. Is it worthwhile trying to, push her in the direction of Greenfields in the hope that she can, I don't know, establish connection with the Lords of Deep Cove? Because
But isn't, from what I overheard, isn't the oh, I can't remember his name. I wasn't really listening. The guy from Deep Cove whose family died in the theater explosion.
Beckforths?
Beckforths?
Yes.
Beckforths?
Oh no, sorry. Clarify. Kate knows. Rowan doesn't. Like,
well, the Beckford.
aren't they coming down from Deep? She's not going to want to go anywhere near Deep Cove.
No. But she's lost family. Beckford's lost family. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's the juxtaposed position could be established that they've both been hurt by the Malagarths. Like in this position,
we would need to get her in front of the Beckforths before the Malagarths can twist the story. I have no idea how we would do that
So
other
we're
than
taking
take
her
her
with
with us
us?
and go there or go to intercept them. They'll be here
I mean-
shortly. But if we meet them here, then the Malagarths can restrict us, can arrest us, can uh, uh, and you can see Grumpfel starting to get a bit flustered. He says, "We cannot help her here when it's the odds are stacked against us. We need to take her to intercept the Beckforths before they get here, so they can
Yes.
hear."
I agree with
Her.
getting her out of town, but once we're out of town, we're still going to have the problem with Greenfields. Like,
I mean,
she's
I
not
have
going
a
to want to come with us to
suggestion.
the gem mine, is she?
Why don't we? I mean, my town that I'm from is not far from here. We could take her to my family. That's halfway to Deep Cove, really, and we are a touring point, a transit point for. That's why the town's still there.
That sounds very plausible.
Okay,
I mean,
but
I'd like to make sure that my family are all right because, like, if the Backforths are coming, all guns blazing, they're right in the line of that.
it's going to
And she
take
looks
time
like
for
genuinely
word to...
worried about her family, like genuinely worried that something's going to happen to that town.
Well, what happens to
But,
Greenfields then? I'm not trying to be insensitive,
I've
Rowan, but
I've
In a nice way, I don't give a toss about Greenfields.
I think in order to help Greenfields, we need to take stock of our situation and work out what we need to do first. And yes, I think Greenfields is, if I remember correctly, not on a direct path from here to Deep Cove.
No,
I
not
think
at all.
Rowan's hometown is. I think the best way to help Greenfields is to help the lady Alton now, and I think Rowan's suggestion of taking her to Rowan's hometown sounds quite plausible.
well, your hometown, Rowan. Do they swear allegiance to Deep Cove or Harrow?
We don't have allegiances to anywhere, really.
So why would Deep Cove come down on them?
We're between them and Harrow.
Hmm.
They're going to make people pick a side, and if they don't want to, which we won't, because we're the trading point between places, that's not going to make anyone happy, is it?
But isn't Deep Cove the capital of where are we at? Riverlands?
Elamar.
Elamar. Yeah. And the Lord is the Lord.
We acknowledge his lordship's lordship, but we're not, like... Are you telling me that you love every single person who's in power in wherever the heckins you're from?
Yeah, but Carfel Bar has a bit of a weird bureaucracy. There's no head honcho. In Alamar, you have Lord Deep Cove, do you not? And
I think you'll find...
Isn't it that's where the types go every time, isn't it?
Just because you're taxed by someone doesn't mean you like them either. Your allegiance doesn't have to be about money.
I could fill volumes on that very subject.
Right? So we're a town who doesn't, like, we're not going to pick a side if all of this stuff's coming through us. It's like, man, I need an equivalent of we're like Switzerland, but I can't say we're like Switzerland because it doesn't make any sense.
It's like you're the equivalent of Riverview. Yeah.
Switzerland, but with heaps of apostrophes.
We're Riverview. That's like,
Yeah.
That's the point of a town like ours, is that we're not, like, we don't pick sides in the battles between lords. We're normal people. Most people don't care about which lordship's family what's it got, like, happens to still be alive. Our tithings are still going to Deep Cove whether we like it or not.
That sounds very similar to Svazina. We are quite neutral, and we address every policy and issue on its merit, and make a decision on the matter at hand. That's the same for yourself, Rowan?
I mean, it's more like, we get on with our lives, and the sports of kings and lords and so on have little to do with us, so we don't care. And so long as we don't make a fuss, they don't make a fuss, so we just keep on existing. And like, my father would come into Harrow and do trade and take us down to Deep Cove and do trade, and there's no problems there. We're not picking a side. You don't have to pick a side unless there's a war, and they're not going to want to do that. We haven't yet. Why should we now?
So if... Is it likely that Harrow will send military forces to conscript members of your town, Rowan?
I don't
Force
know
people to pick sides?
I don't know what lords are going to do. I'm not a lord. My father is a farmer. I kind of don't care. They're fascinating people, but I haven't picked a side yet, and I don't intend to start now.
I agree, but the people who run your town may have a different view, or may be forced into a position whether or not they want to or not.
Which is kind of why I want to check on them, Tiernan, because I don't think they'll pick a side. And then that's not going to make anyone happy.
Well, I
think we need to check with the others that they're happy with this, though. Can't
indeed.
just make a call on behalf of people. They may not choose to go there.
Does this tavern look like it's got like private dining rooms or private drinking rooms? It's just all one big
It's a
open
pub.
room.
This is
Yeah, just
no,
hey,
this is-
some will have like just little sort of recess or even a recessed alcove off the large.
So think of the dingiest one room bar you've ever been to, and then drag that through the mud. And that's kind of like this place. It's here purely for people to come and drink alcohol. That's basically it.
Does it not have a cellar or anything?
Well, I mean, you can look around and there's two doors that are obvious from where you are. One which is the door in and out, and the other door which leads to the kitchen.
I was actually, while they were having that discussion, I was going to go to the bar or tavern owner or whoever and ask if they did have any rooms away from the general populace that we could potentially use.
So the bar keeps Scar, the giant muscled dragonborn. Like when you ask, just kind of peers down over the bar looming over the top of you, and just gives a snort. No.
Do you not have a bar, a cellar or anything like a space that's just not the whole space?
Well, we've got a kitchen and a storeroom.
How big's
But
the
I mean, I'm not
storeroom?
letting you lot out there.
I'll put 3 gold on the counter.
Okay, he takes the 3 gold.
No,
make it
I've got
make
my
it-
hand, I've got my fingers on it. You can't
Okay.
take it.
He starts to reach over for it, and like his hand covers yours, and it's like Andre the Giant taking a toddler's
I'm
hand.
going to clear my throat. Could we possibly use the storeroom?
It's my kitchen at the same time. I've got people cooking out there.
Oh no.
If you were after privacy, there's plenty of rundown buildings around here that you can just go and use.
Oh, okay then. Well, we'll do that then.
Then
And
we'll
I'll
just...
take- I'm going to take I'm starting to drag the money back towards me.
Make a strength check.
Strength
Make a
check.
strength check for me, please.
No, it's -1.
20. Come on, give us our
9.
first nat 20.
No.
Teen? No.
You actually catch him off guard. And before he sort of even can do anything, you manage to sort of pull your hand out from underneath. Because the DM rolled a natural 1.
Ah, nice.
And he glares down at you, gives another snort, and then just walks off down to another part of the bar.
Grumpfel and Rowan, how about we just get out of Harrow and then we decide what we want to do to get out of there. Does it sound fair?
Sounds good.
So
I guess,
sorry, keep going, John.
So the only thing I can assume to get out of town without being seen is to go through the sewer. Grumpfel and I did successfully get out of
Delgrim.
the.
Delgrim?
Isn't that what it says?
Grumpfel? No, you said
my bad.
Grumpfel.
What I said, Delgrim. Delgrim and I were able to get out of the Dragon Heart. Is that the right area? Yeah. Through the sewers. It wasn't the easiest way, but at least we avoided all the guards. I think we're gonna have to drag Kira out with us, though. Thoughts?
I mean, I'm not really much one for sneaking through sewers, but if it's out, and I doubt she is either.
You have another suggestion? I'm all ears.
Well, how far, like, in terms of where we are and the town walls, how far are we from the edge of town?
So from where you are,
because I didn't arrive in Harrow, but I would know Harrow. So
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
actually
Like
know where we are.
You're not
Locationally.
like miles away. You're probably closer to the edge of the wall, edge of the town than you are to the center. And when Ori, who was the one who was telling you about basically the way out through the sewers, there's plenty of places within the Rat's Nest where there's sort of access to those sewers, which then lead out sort of through. There's a hole in this part of the wall, because the sewers are sort of half sewer, half just sort of trickle through the effectively the slums themselves.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
As I'm walking back towards the table, can I hear anything that they're discussing?
There's quite a few people in here despite the time of day, and considering that they're all making a considered effort to be quiet, no, you would. I mean, you're welcome to make a perception check. The DC is going to be like super duper 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 high.
No,
but
I just wanted to know if I could hear them all.
No, it's
like
definitely
how
not a
likely
conversation.
it would be that other people around us could hear.
No.
You probably would hear Delgrim ask Taris. So Taris, as a whole grown person who capable of making your own decisions, what kind of plan you think you have? It seemed like you should get out of Harrow. I feel like you have all the skills and agency to make your own decision on what your plan in life is next. What do you think you do?
Taris is probably about 4 drinks deep at this stage. 3 down very, very fast. Now sort of slowing down a little bit. If you're keeping up, Delgrim, she's buying them. So that's entirely up to you.
Yeah, he will.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. They're very, very, very strong, as I said before, and Delgrim would already be starting to feel the effects of the alcohol. When you say that, she's quiet for a moment. And then she says, I don't know. Like 15, 20 minutes ago, I found out that my entire family's dead. I mean, killed. And there's nothing I can do about it. And there's all the shit from the theater last night. And my entire world's just come tumbling down around me. I don't know what I'm going to do now.
It's not true.
I think actually no,
nothing
actually no. I know what I'm going to do now. I'm going to get unbelievably drunk, and I'm going to pretend that this world doesn't exist because I don't want it to.
I understand how you come to feel that way, but there is one thing.
No, hold on. No, hold on. Do you? Do you know
I
what it's
do.
like to have your entire family murdered? To lose the people that you love the most in the world?
Like I told you earlier, I have lost everything and everyone. So yes, I do know. And the one thing that you can do is survive. You survive, you learn, you find the place and time that you are comfortable to choose your own path. Instead of having that choice made for you.
She reaches sort of down and behind herself and pulls out the long dagger that you've seen before. And she puts it on the bar in front of her beside the glass. And she says, right now, I would like to slip that into Ned Traderson's throat.
I think that is a very fine response, and they seem like worthy of receiving it in their throat. I also feel if you try and do this in a city that it seem, and if this is not the case, then tell me so. But it seems you are alone here right now. I feel it would be safer for you to leave.
Got some connections here, but I mean, if the Tradersons, I mean, they're just going to hunt everybody down. Anyone I go near is probably going to get killed. I mean, even you and your friends. Probably, you should probably just leave me. Honestly,
Is this loud enough that we in the group can hear?
this will
yeah.
probably be happening simultaneously, kind of like with the conversation that you and the others are having. And you can see that she's already sort of the effects of the alcohol is definitely starting to kick in with her as well. You guys should probably just, I mean, maybe just get out of town. Maybe just leave me here. Well, I don't.
Like I said, I feel some small measure of responsibility for maybe not the events that have led to this, but certainly for not preventing them, not stopping these tragedies from occurring. And for that reason, you are welcome to travel with us. We will leave, I think. I don't know what they plan to do, but I feel we will leave this place. We are being hunted. And I am the one who hunts, but I cannot do that here.
He takes another sip of the drink. And about this time, sort of the other conversation with the rest of you would have come to its natural conclusion, and Miera, you would have sort of arrived back as well. And you can see Taras is sort of mulling over the words as she continues to drink.
So I was just speaking to the barman, Scar, and he mentioned that there might be some abandoned buildings around the area that we could possibly use to get some privacy. I'm thinking if there are people looking for Taras, maybe we could hide until it's dark.
This is to Delgrim and Taras, or is this
The
to
table?
Yeah, cool. That seemed like a sensible idea.
Tiernan, did you say there was access to the sewer out the back?
Yeah, apparently the cook uses them quite regularly.
Perhaps we should find a building that's out the back, so that if we need to use that course of action, we're not too far from it.
I knew, Tiernan, you like the sewer more than you say you do.
No, I cannot express this enough. I do not like the sewer. But when there's no other options to get out of Dodge, you gotta get your feet dirty.
Is Dodge part of Carthabal? Because you keep mentioning Dodge. I do need to sit down and talk a bit more with you
It's a bit
about.
of a slang. It's like a slang.
Oh, okay. Yes.
It's an expression.
Yes, I think I need to at a stage later have a chat to you about where it is that you originate from.
You haven't heard of Cuffleball, but
I have.
That's another another conversation to have. But,
Absolutely.
I think we need to make a concerted effort to get out of visibility and certainly get out of Harrow.
Grumpfel will take the drink and sort of toast Tiernan and go, "Let's get out of Dodge." And he'll take a sip.
Sip or a... Tiernan's like, puts it back on the table. He's already had one.
Yeah, Delgrim will reach out and do a little tink. To the sewers!
How loud did you just say that?
Super loud.
Yeah. So there's a few people who all sort of turn around and give you guys a bit of a look.
Mhm.
Yeah, Tiernan says, yes, we have a lot of bowel problems.
Oh,
And now the party has a name.
The bowel problem.
The sewers.
No, no,
What have you
no,
done?
no, no. Oh God.
oh dear, dear, dear.
That was when Rowan realized that she needed to find a new party.
Yeah. Rowan
Um,
disappears forever.
Oh, dear.
Let's go.
So it's either
Um,
the sewers or the bowel problems now.
So,
The plentiful party of the travelling IBS.
so
Before I'd leave, I'd actually just tug on the cook's garment, whatever, and said,
what cook? The cook's out
that cook
back.
that keeps coming in and out with the food.
Oh, so the next time you see him, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
alright.
because Scar originally told me to talk to him.
Yeah.
So I hit him up for the location of the nearest sewer outlet. Scar told me to talk to him.
Okay. Yeah. So it's probably like another sort of 5 or so minutes before he reappears. This ugly little dwarf. He's like, hurry up. I'm an evil day. I've got food to serve.
Scar told me to ask you where the sewers are, mate.
Sewers, follow the smell. It's just out the back.
Sounds good. Tiernan's like cutting it really short. He doesn't want to have a big conversation.
Excellent. I got potatoes to serve. Thanks. And off he goes.
Potatoes.
Diddly dee.
Taris obviously is hearing all this conversation, but is still going with the drinking. So what is the plan?
I'm sorry, just a quick aside.
Yep.
Taris was a follower of Maisha.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's right. Just making sure I get my wording right.
Yeah. Totally cool.
Cool. So we're all there. Tiernan has just chatted with the cook, and we're
Mhm.
all sort of still round the table, sipping and drinking and what have. Just painting the picture.
Yep. No, totally cool.
When would you all like to leave? I feel if we stay here too long in one place, we are going to die.
I'd be
we
happy to
should go
leave
now.
straight away, but
Yes.
what about Taris, Delgrim?
Taris, again, you are welcome to travel with us. If we find the opportunity to hunt this Traderson,
Delgrim.
I would enjoy helping you.
I mean, if you're all stupid enough to travel with me, I'm fine, I guess.
It's not stupid. I've seen you with those knives. You'll be
Sometimes you
asset
just
to
need
group.
to be not in the place that you find yourself. Like
Grumpfel will
pipes
look.
up from the dwarf.
That is very profound, Rowan.
Yeah, sometimes when you listen to me, I say actually reasonable things.
Maybe it drinks, but it strike a chord.
Right. Okay.
Taris gets up and walks over to the bar, and you can see her slide some more coins across. Slide some more coins across, and Scar produces a bottle, which she takes. And she comes back to.
Like does it look like beer or spirit?
No, it looks very much like the bottle that was being used to distribute the dragon's breath, which is the drink that she has been partaking in.
Okay.
And she comes back to the table with that slight list to her tall frame as she looks at you and just says, "Well, I mean, are you going?"
Yeah. To
Or am I
Grumpfel will look at.
just- Yep, go Heath.
Oh, sorry. I thought your stream froze for a second. I'm like, have we just lost the DM? Grumpfel will look at Taris and say, Maisha and Kamatayon make good traveling companions, and I dare say you will be welcome with us.
Yep.
He'll give like a sort of a look towards the others and give a nod and let's go.
She just looks at you guys, just sort of expectantly.
All right. Well,
Are we going? Am I sitting down? Am I just drinking this here? Or what?
Grumpfel pushed Tiernan towards the kitchen because he was talking to the cook.
No. We gotta go out. And then we'll start walking towards the front door.
Oh, I thought we were going out through the kitchen because it was out the back.
Should we not go out the back door?
Yes, I think that's a plan. I think let's
Okay.
make a quiet retreat through the back.
I don't think we want to be seen.
So just to
Maybe.
add a bit of context, like the door to the kitchen / storeroom is sort of beside the bar. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not concealed. It's like it would probably be more obvious.
Rowan's gonna
guys-
very loudly just like, guys, if you need the restroom, it's out the back. You go through the door, like, because she's been out there, and that's where.
Oh
like,
yeah,
she-
there was another
Yeah.
door out to like a outhouse
Mhm.
area. Hey,
Yeah,
because
there's
that's for
first
go that
alley
way.
on the left.
Yeah. You just go out through the door by the bar. I'll holler if you get lost. And she's just like fobbing them off deliberately so that she can wait to then go and follow them afterwards. So that they're not all leaving in one big gaggle like a
conspicuous,
really
yeah.
obvious blob of conspicuous people might do.
Grumpfel will move.
Yeah, Delgrim's probably already out the door by this point. He would have taken the glass with him.
It might be following Grumpfel.
Taris goes with Delgrim.
Yeah, it's out with them as well.
Rowan's gonna wait like 30 to 40 seconds.
Mhm.
Chug what remains of her drink and then follow them out like she's just suddenly gone, oh, I also now need to use the bathroom.
Yeah, cool. So the main gaggle of the party emerges out into the streets of the Rat's Nest. There's a few people out and about, but again, this part of the town sort of not super busy during the day. And you head around to where you understood sort of the sewers, an entrance to the sewers were. In the Dragon's Heart, the entrance to the sewers was a well-maintained, grate and a well-maintained road with easy access. Here, the access to the sewer, you probably smell it before you see it. You can actually see that the sewer's sort of half exposed. It's almost like it's been built to sort of just direct the flow of stuff out away from the center of the town with very little regard to the people who live here. But you can see that it sort of goes, it is on a downward slope and appears to sort of be going down into not a particularly large sort of sewer pipe in the ground. So for the majority of the party, sort of a little bit of a head bob, you'd be okay. For anybody who's sort of like human sized, it would be like actually having to kind of crouch down fairly significantly.
So Taris and I would be crouching. Well, how tall is
So
it?
it's like
Oh,
a, so
okay.
there's like a furrow that just channels everything down towards his,
Pretty much.
like a little,
yeah.
like a very small canal.
Terrace is just taking swigs out of the bottle. She'll offer it every now and then to you, Delgrim, since you seem to be sort of partaking at the same time. Oh, excuse me. So my understanding now is you're just going to head down once Rowan joins the group. You're just going to head down through the sewers.
Yeah, I suspect. Was that sort of what everybody agreed on? Or?
Yeah, and Delgrim's probably going to take much smaller like sips of this bottle as it's passed over to him as they kind of start progressing out into the world too.
Okay. What's the order that you're going to progress down into the sewers?
Last, because
Yeah.
I like am the last person out of the bar.
Yeah, I feel like Delgrim's going to be fairly nonchalantly just getting out of fantasy dodge.
So,
happy to be
so
upfront.
Promethean, how merry is Delgrim? Is he getting stonkered, or is he just, he's taking the edge off and he's still good?
He's socially drinking with
Okay.
his new grieving friend.
Okay. How stonkered does Lady Alton look?
Lady Alton, I mean, they haven't been drinking long, so probably the full impacts of the alcohol haven't kicked in. But even now, there is probably the slight. You would be able to observe someone who occasionally is having to be a little bit more intentional about the way that they're walking to
Okay,
counter
so not drunk, just
not
on the
like
way though.
toasted, not absolutely
Okay,
wiped out, but maybe just a little less sure on their feet.
Okay, because if we're all if most of us have to scooch down to go in this thing, I don't want a royally drunk noble getting stuck because they're
He's at this song is about me level, not lighting the cigarette at the wrong end.
Right. Cool. I just wanted to get that assessed before we get ourselves into a situation where so she's not able to do anything. Right. Cool.
So John, you asked how tall Terrace is.
Yeah.
Like Terrace is very tall. Like she's probably she's over 6 foot.
Oh, okay.
Tall. As I said, she's athletically built.
So I'm almost as tall as her.
Sorry?
Tiernan's almost as tall as her. He's 5.8.
So you got Delgrim. Terrace will be right behind you, Delgrim.
Tiernan will be moving up to the front as well.
Yep. So Tiernan. And then Grumpfel and Miera, what order are you guys in?
I'll probably be behind Grumpfel.
Okay. All right.
And as soon as it starts getting hard to see, Tiernan will cast light on Blinky.
Mm-hmm.
Blinky will just float around whoever's in front.
Yep. Cool. So you guys make your way down into the sewers within the Rat's Nest. It is a very much unmaintained part of the sewer network in this town. Again, it is there to just sort of channel stuff out and away from the center more than anything else. It is comparatively straight though, unlike up underneath the Dragon's Heart, which was a bit of a sort of a labyrinth of twists and turns. This part here is pretty much feels like straight towards the edge of the town, into the town walls. And it doesn't take you actually that long. Yep. Before up ahead you can see what appears to be, and the pipe opens up a little bit. Again, not enough for people to be able to stand up properly, tall people to stand up properly. And you are kind of wading through the filth. There is no path on either side for you guys to be walking through. But then up ahead, you can see off in the distance what appears to be sort of a grate. And you can hear the sound of water and stuff splashing as it falls through the grate.
Is that blocking our way, is it?
It would appear to be, yes.
Then we'll move up front and start inspecting the grate to see how is it actually affixed to the wall and so forth.
It's a series of crisscrossed iron bars, which appear to be fairly well attached to the surrounding wall. The little bit of rust, maybe not in the best condition, but also certainly not like there's no door or anything like that to open, unlike the ones that you found leading from the dragon's heart out into the nest itself. But beyond that, you can actually see that the water probably falls. There's a slight drop, maybe 10 feet at the most, and you can see there's just sort of this small rivulet that runs down sort of a shallow incline away from the town and towards a river you can see off in the distance.
I think Delgrim would probably give it a bit of a test kick.
A test kick, definitely, like, it feels solid initially. Tiernan, though, you were doing a bit of a check of it. Can you make an investigation roll for me, please?
13.
13. Again, it is fairly solid, but you can tell that it's been here for some time, and so some of the walls around where it's connected in are starting to crumble away a little bit. Potentially, you could try and force your way through. Like, it definitely would not be quiet, and it would definitely not leave anything afterwards.
Then we'll pull out his crowbar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ham, just quick. So the tunnels come into a larger room. The grate's there. Any other side tunnels, or just one in, one out, grate in the way?
So no large room. Literally, it's just a tunnel down to this grate. It's like this is sort of
okay.
a central line.
I thought you said it opened up.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
This is just a central line, basically out to the wall, and
Right.
all of the sewage that you guys are basically wading through, just out through the end of it, and then running off down
Okay.
away from the town.
Given
And
that someone's given that someone's given this a test kick, I'm going to try and, as much as the space will allow, head back to where Rowan is.
Yep.
And Grumpfel using his dark vision and perception, try and get away from it, and just keep an eye out if anything's coming behind us, or if I can hear anything coming behind us.
Yeah, for sure. Can you make a perception check for me, please?
Sure. Just I thought while we're making not that first kick while we're making noise. 11 plus 5 is 16.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, Tiernan, you've got your crowbar out, and you're going to have a crack at trying to dislodge this.
I'm going to try to use my crowbar near where the bars. I'm assuming they're embedded into the wall, the brick.
Yep.
The stone or whatever. And he's going to try to see where the weakest point is, and then try to leverage it, one of the bars out, one by one, to try to make an opening.
As you jam the crowbar in to get some leverage, almost at exactly the same time that you do that, there is this crash, a shattering sound behind you. Delgrim, beside you, you hear Terrace go, oops, it's empty anyway. As the bits of the bottle, broken glass, just sort of get caught up in the river and the rivulet of scum and get washed away. And she's leaning quite obviously against the wall now.
Great. Just be careful of glass.
Tiernan, can you please make for me an athletics check as you try and muscle, use brute force in this situation? 8.
I'm not using brute force. I'm trying to leverage.
Yeah, I think they're going to probably be helping with that as well, either with a second crowbar or
just. All right. So in that case, you guys have got a choice. You can either Tiernan, you can roll with advantage, or Delgrim, you can roll with advantage. Or you can each roll individually, up to you.
Does Delgrim look physically stronger than me?
Great question. I know, how physically strong does Tiernan look, do we think, on a scale of... When I say
Oh, he's
dude.
he's,
It's
the
he's
ultimate
very
question.
very average.
On a scale of 3 to 18.
Yeah,
How swole does he look?
Yeah,
Yeah.
look.
A
I
distinct
guess-
lack of swole.
Yeah, well, I guess Delgrim's pretty... He's not like a beefcake.
But he has some cake.
Oh yeah, he's...
Then definitely.
Yeah, he's
Tiernan will have-
definitely got some cake for sure.
So-
All of a sudden, Miera's like, stay in your lane.
Delgrim's more of a really good dense mud cake, where Tiernan's more of a sponge.
With the top slightly kind of off
Yeah.
center.
Delgrim, I think you'd be better at this than I. Let's see if we can pull some of these bars out. Try to lever this crowbar here.
Sure.
See if I can help.
Ooh, Jesus. That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Outstanding. Okay. You managed to dislodge about 3 of the bars, which is enough for you to kind of start to push the whole sort of grate outwards. So there would be a gap for you to be able to sort of squeeze out the side. The challenge there, however, being, of course, that once you're through, it is basically just a drop of, like I said, maybe 10 feet at top down into a grassy, muddy slope. But you don't make too much noise either doing it. It is a bit of a grunting and heaving as you unwedge these bars and push it out.
Brilliant. Out into the wide world through the grates.
Okay. How are you going to navigate down the incline?
10 feet, isn't it?
What was that, sorry?
Was it 10 feet down?
About 10 feet.
Tiernan pulls out some rope, ties it to one of the bars that wasn't loosened,
Mhm.
and drops it down. And
Okay, cool.
sends Blinky down to light the way, and then proceeds to climb down.
I mean, it's light outside. Like it's like early afternoon at the latest still.
I don't know how bright it is down here, so I'm assuming it's.
Well, I mean, the
once you
grate
get-
leads to outside, and it's a fairly clear day, so there's plenty of light where you guys are now.
Oh, so that leads outside. So we're
Yeah, yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
on-
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Freedom.
Yeah, freedom.
that was easy.
Okay, so you guys, like it's not a hard climb. You're all able to scramble out and climb down the rope onto the ground at the bottom, and the walls of the city sort of rise up high above you as you come down. On the sort of the western side of the town, which is, or sort of northwestern side, which is the same side as Greenfield. So heading off to the west would be Greenfield, and then further west you're off heading towards the coast and towards where Deep Cove is. Riverview itself from here is sort of northwestish slightly. But
Is
yeah,
there
so
anyone
you all.
around that would
Sorry?
have seen? Is there anyone around that would have seen us climbing out?
Anyone on the battlements or on the wall rather?
You'd need to kind of step backwards a bit, but yeah, I mean, make anyone who wants to have a look, make a perception check.
Tiernan won't, but he'll get Blinky to go up and cut the rope back. So the
Okay.
rope.
Cool, not a problem. Leave the tied up part there, but the rest of the rope, falls down to the ground. Cool. Perception rolls, people.
21,
14.
There's a 14 for Rowan. What was Miera's?
21.
21. Okay.
15.
15. Grumpfel?
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Actually, no. Grumpfel's going to hug the wall. He's going to close. He's not going to step out and look. Trying to
Those
assess
of you who are
He's really
looking,
going to miss Harrow.
Yeah. I love you. Those of you who are looking, you sort of have to walk a small distance away from the wall to sort of be able to see. From the angle, it's very hard. It looks like there's definitely battlements at intervals, fairly lengthy intervals, and towards the north, you can actually see vague figures up on the battlements themselves, but it doesn't. You can't see anyone sort of like looking down or pointing or anything like that. There's definitely people up there.
Where does
but
where
part
does
of
this
the-
run? Where does this runoff go to? Is there any foliage? Is it how close it's to foliage? Have they cleared? Has the runoff got some horrible growth? Like some not horrible growth. Has it got growth following this horrible
Yeah.
channel?
There would be, because of the nature of the runoff. It winds its way down towards the river, which is the river's a fair distance away, but there is definitely sort of undergrowth and stuff like that.
Undergrowth. That's what I was.
Yeah.
What I was trying to get. I'm going to say quietly to the group. I suggest we follow the runoff.
What, till we get to the tree line? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, making your way through the undergrowth then, trying to be stealthy will require stealth checks from everybody, funnily enough.
I'm on fire tonight.
I'll do Delgrim's at disadvantage, I think. He's probably tipsy enough.
Okay.
Math
Oh, that
20.
Nice. Actually, I need to do Terrace as well.
Amazing. 9 for Delgrim.
Outstanding. 9 for Delgrim. Rowan got a 20. Grumpfel.
14.
11.
Sorry, what was Tiernan's?
14.
14. And Miera?
10.
10. You guys
Wow.
not. You guys not. I mean, apart from Rowan, who seems to just have this natural affinity to kind of just vanish.
She's tiny. She does a thing.
She does her thing. Taris is completely almost disregarding the whole concept of stealth at this point in time. She's kind of crashing through the undergrowth, trying to follow where you guys are going. God, this smells like shit. This is terrible. Where are we going now? Question is, have you been spotted? I think I need to burn those dice in the fires of hell.
Keep them? Okay, great.
You make your way down, following this runoff towards the river. You don't hear any indications behind you that anybody's seen you or spotted you. Off to the south, you would be able to see in the distance the road which leads from Greenfields to Harrow that you actually came into Harrow from when you first came here the first time. But after probably 20 minutes, you find yourselves down by the banks of the Melody River.
Is there a lot of shrubbery alongside the river?
There's a small number of trees which line the river. Not particularly thick or anything like that, but there would be enough
for
where you
cover.
could, for the most part.
Shall we at least wash a little our clothes at the very least?
This is a very good idea. This does not smell nice at all.
Grumpfel's going to look at Lady Alton and say, my lady, through my vestments, would you like to be relieved of your ever so slight inebriation?
Oh, what?
Would you like me to cure you of your inebriation?
One need breathe. No.
Would you like me to reverse your state of drunkenness?
No.
No?
I'm fine. I'm
Okay.
absolutely 150%. And she actually stumbles and falls on her ass in the grass.
Well, she's now down to sort of Grumpfel's eye height. He says, "Very well, I understand why you are in this state given what's happened, but should we run into anyone that would want to attack us, I may need to remove your drunkenness so that we may escape."
Whatever.
Okay, thank you. And he'll sort of give a little bow and sort of back away.
Tiernan's practically dunking his head in the river trying to get clean.
Oh yeah, like Delgrim would have just jumped straight on in.
Yeah.
Like,
So you guys clean yourselves all up, those of you who do. Terrace seems to be completely disinterested in anything like that. But once people have addressed the smell of themselves and the like, Rowan, you're from these parts. You know this area really well. You know that there's a main road that goes from Harrow north, which crosses the Melody River just at the base of the Usurper Hills, and then leads up along the outskirts of the Darking Wood, and then cuts through to Riverview. And it's probably about 3 days to get to Riverview from here. And that the road itself is fairly well traveled due to just the trade nature of the area.
Yep.
But in saying that, like once you're across the river and you're within on the edges of the Darking Wood, like there's plenty of cover, there's plenty of places to hide if people wanted to. And the trip is comparatively straightforward.
I mean, we can just take the main roads. It's not the most like sneaky way of getting to Riverview. Assuming that's what everyone wants to do, because she has suggested this to 2 out of the 6 people in this group, but not the others.
Delgrim looks mildly surprised, I guess, that Rowan has suggested going to Riverview, but will kind of nod eagerly.
Miera?
If it's safe for us there.
It's my hometown. It's not some weird place we
Will
don't know
they
anything
remember
about.
you?
Hey,
What?
hey, is it an open
It's
road?
my
or-
hometown.
Oh no, that's a good point. Would people go looking for you in Riverview?
What do you mean?
Like the Melgarths and the traders? Were you seen?
Me? Nope. I've never
Yeah.
been seen in this. Not by anyone, not by no how. I don't
you-
exist.
Okay, so no one saw you. So
Literally,
one
the
would've
only people who've seen me are the people in the pub that we just left. That is
Okay.
it.
okay, well if you're unknown then yeah, no one will think to look at us for us in Riverview. And you said you wanted to you were concerned about your family.
Yeah,
Which I can attest to. I know how that feels. Just like, yeah, I guess we're going to Riverview. Look, my only concern is that it does mean that we won't get on top of Greenfields as quickly. My only concern. I have no problems with going to Riverview. I am just getting a little bit concerned with our obligations to.
I mean, I don't know what obligations we have, really. Like, if you remember, she disappeared before we left Greenfields. So I literally do not have this information. It's amazing. Stuff that Rowan doesn't know.
We made
so much.
we made the agreement with Wex to help Riverview,
And we were
To help
we were made-
Greenfields, you mean?
yes,
yes.
of course. I have Riverview on mind. No reason.
And we were
Okay.
supposed to have the Altons help them, and the secondary option was to pursue monetary backing through the gem mine. Although we were able to give ourselves a bit of breathing room by taking Mr. Lordling to the jail cell, the clock is ticking. But
I
I
think-
understand your concern with your family in Riverview. How far away is Riverview again?
Couple of days.
Couple of days. It'd probably be worth for peace of mind, for your peace of mind. I think. At least give them the heads up of what's going down in Harrow.
It's a good idea for us to not go to Greenfield for a while.
Yes, that is true. We don't want to bring
we-
our troubles to Greenfield.
We were seen talking to nobles. It's possible our conversation's been heard. If someone is looking for us, they could very easily go looking there.
If we are making our way to Riverview, are we traveling by road or are we traveling overland?
I mean, it's about 2.5 to 3 days if we go by road. I guess on foot, it's faster if we had a cart or something. But
Oh, we
it's
left
not
our
that
cart
hard.
behind.
Tiernan focused on the important things.
Did we name the horses?
I don't know. Did you name the horses?
I think Miera named the horses, didn't she?
I don't know.
think
They
so.
didn't breathe fire, so I don't think we got that far
Yeah.
in naming them.
All right. So refocusing back on the important things here. So
Rescue mission for the horses. Okay, got it.
where you are. Oh my God.
We left Peanut behind.
So how do you guys want to make your way to Riverview? Do you want to just take effectively what is the main road? Are you wanting to go overland to avoid that? What is your plan?
Tiernan would like to be a little bit more stealthy, but he's completely unfamiliar with where Riverview is. He knows it's north, a couple of days, and that's about it. But he can't offer any advice at all.
Rowan's gut instinct is to take the road because it's the road she knows and she could get there very easily, but is probably familiar enough with the countryside in the area to go slightly off-piste and not be... and that's off-piste, not off-piste, because those things have vastly different connotations.
Excellent.
To be able to still get us there.
Okay.
And if
So-
Delgrim's got just a direction that they're going in, so if it's just straight north, he'd be
North-ish.
northish. He'd be happy to do some just kind of scouting,
Wait, some
Ahead.
actual ranger stuff?
some ranger shit.
Hold on.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa,
Whoa,
stop
sorry,
here, buddy.
Sorry about it. Yeah.
Whoa, class features.
I'm gonna make you roll a
What?
dice, and we all know how that ends up, Promethean.
No
And
pressure.
are you still slightly inebriated at this point?
Well, I think between the splash of the river, so he didn't polish off an entire bottle. He would have just had the drinks that they had.
To be fair,
there
she
and a
didn't
few
either. She
sips.
dropped it.
Feel like she probably got through most of it before she did that. So yeah, between kind of the jumping in the river and getting out in the world, and he'll be all right.
So, my understanding of what you guys are doing is that you are essentially following the road, but are maybe off to the side or something similar. So that you
Following
kind of
parallel.
Probably so that she knows where the road is, but can't necessarily see the road, but
okay.
run parallel to the road.
Yeah, for sure. Perfect.
I
Okay.
think the road
that's
is a
fine.
navigational aid, but not necessarily.
Need that on a shirt. I'm
Yeah.
a ranger.
The
We'll
road
use the road as
It's
a
just
navigational aid.
navigational aid.
Yeah. Actually, that is perfect. That is yeah. Match that one up, Saz. All right. So with that, you guys head off towards the township of Riverview. Delgrim, as the party heads off after the conversations, you sort of turn around. You notice that Taris is still just sitting in the grass, and you can see now that she's just quietly crying.
Incredible. Lady Alton, I know this is difficult. This is not ideal situation for you to be in, for you to be on the road, on the move, but is also ideal situation. We have grieved, we will continue grieving, but for now, we need to move. If you stay here, someone from Harrow will find you. It's very likely you'll be put to death. I think that would be a waste of your life and talent.
She wipes away some of the tears, sort of leaving sort of some dirt on her cheeks from where her hands have sort of been on the ground, and looks at you with the blurry gaze of someone who's pretty tanked, and says, just why does this stuff happen to people? We haven't done, all we ever tried to do was like the right thing in Harrow. Was, I mean, all of that, none of this bullshit that all of these other families would get entangled with. We just tried doing the right thing, and this is where it got us. What's the point?
In my experience, there is never only one answer to the question why. So for me, this is fruitless question. You can produce answer after answer after answer. A better approach is to ask what now. For me, what now? I'm going to scout ahead of my friends, so if there is someone on road or sneaking around in bushes, maybe I see them and help them survive longer, help them be the great versions of themselves a little while longer. You need to decide what now is for you, but you don't need to decide now. But I can tell you, easy decision to make. It's 1 foot in front of other foot. Keep walking, see where you land.
She holds a hand up to you in that kind of like help me get up kind of way.
Which he will do, yeah.
She staggers slightly, sort of that whole sort of hands out, trying to find that elusive sense of balance that alcohol has a tendency to take away from people. Just kind of gives you a look for a moment, and then starts to follow the rest of the group.
You stay with Grumpfel. You'll not come with me. You're too noisy and drunk.
She gives a brief chuckle to that as she follows onwards. So, with you all now heading off for the rest of the day, Delgrim, you're scouting ahead, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not super far, just enough to hopefully get wind of any. I'm thinking if like the Harrow thing's kind of blown up, there's a chance there might be like, groups of mercenaries or the Stormbreaker dudes, kind of patrolling around or heading to certain places.
Yep. Okay. Can you make me a actually, I'll leave it up to you. You can either make a survival check or a perception check.
Great.
Your choice.
We'll do it because it's a roaded area. I think I just do it as perception. It's not going to be super surviving, I guess. 19.
19. Okay. You head off, taking the lead of the rest of the party. With the travel for the rest of the day, does everybody else, are they effectively just following Delgrim? Is there anything that you guys are wanting to sort of do for the rest of this day, or?
I'll just be following, but Miera will be constantly checking over her shoulder just to see like if there's anyone in the distance, or just keeping an eye out that way.
Rowan's route planning.
Yep.
Like
okay.
trying to work out where she's going.
Yep.
Grumpfel, what were you saying?
Oh, I was going to say Grumpfel will just keep an eye out on anything that we with the words, anything in the way of medicinal properties that can go into a healer's kit that he's got. Happy for you yeah, again with the words. Happy to roll a medicine check if you need me to.
Okay. Make a probably more of a. It's possibly more of a survival because you're foraging for goods.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, happy for you to make a check in that respect. Whilst you do that, Tiernan, what are you up to?
Tiernan was going to be keeping an eye on Taris.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever she goes, he's really not more than 3 steps away.
Okay.
But what he has done is he has sent Blinky vertically up about, I don't know how tall the trees are, but
well, there's no trees where you are at yet.
Okay.
But yeah,
because Blinky is relatively small, he can't really be seen from a far distance. That's Tiernan's logic. So he's going to send Blinky up and quite high, maybe, I don't know, 40 feet in the air or something. I'm not too sure how far high he can fly. He can fly 30 feet, so I imagine 30 feet in the air would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can fly as high as you want in theory.
Yeah.
Blink is a satellite now.
Yeah.
And basically, with
5G.
instructions to keep an eye out for movement on the horizon, anything like that, and to immediately report back down if he sees it and which direction it's from.
Okay. All right. Cool. Grumpfel, what did you end up rolling?
13.
13. Okay. There's not a lot out here. You find 1 or 2 small herbs which have got some mild properties that would be beneficial in some respect, but not enough to kind of like replenish a full kit.
Okay.
Rowan, between sort of you and Delgrim, you guys cut a very quick path across the countryside. And it's probably sort of towards evening where you can see up ahead, and you've crossed the river at this stage, by the way, as well. You can see the edge of the Darking Wood. For those of you who haven't been here before, it is quite an ominous sight up ahead. You can see the outskirts of this forest, tall, very dark trees stretch high up into the sky. Rowan, you're well aware of this part of the world, of course. These trees are actually highly valued by various individuals across Alamar. There's actually a special tree here called the Onyxian, which has got a very hard black wood, which is actually used by a number of people in the construction of ships, which is where a lot of the value actually comes. And it's one of the sort of the big trade benefits of Riverview. Very hard to actually log, but very, very valuable. So you guys would reach the outskirts of, the very edge of the forest by nighttime. With the sun set, you'd be able to sort of make your way into the outskirts of the forest, be able to find a spot that would be pretty easy to kind of like conceal yourselves away from the road. The journey here, you'd see a few travelers off on the sort of at a distance on the road. You guys are far enough away to be able to very quickly sort of duck down and not have to worry too much about being seen. Thanks to both Delgrim and Rowan as you guide the guys through the countryside. So with it being nighttime and you guys setting up camp, is there anything in particular that you're wanting to do this evening? And alternatively, is there anything in particular you guys are wanting to do for the rest of the trip, or any conversations that you want to have between now and finally arriving in Riverview? Because we can either just kind of go bloop, 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 we can speed things ahead, but I also want you guys to have opportunities if there's things you want to talk about, if there's things you want to do, etc., etc., etc.
Well, Tiernan will do his normal alarm setup around the camp. That's his standard thing every night. But apart from that, when he thinks Taris is ready to talk, he would just make subtle inquiries into the power structure of Alamar, like because she is a she's a lady now.
She was always been a lady, but sure.
No, the official Lady Alton, the head of the household, or family, I should say. Just make brief inquiries about what she suspects will happen once Lord Beckford finds out that was his wife and son, wasn't it?
His son and his son's wife.
Son's
Okay.
wife. Yeah.
And was that his only son? Was that the eldest son? You know, those sort of inquiries to try to find out, but try to understand better the power dynamic in Alamar with the families.
All right. A lot of what she's very, like, by the time it's nighttime, a lot of the alcohol has worn off, and it's someone who's now unfortunately suffering the after effects of having drunk a shit ton.
He probably wouldn't hit her up on the first night if he didn't think she was up for that conversation. He's not going to try to broach it.
All right. So, to sort of paraphrase what you would find out. So, firstly,
well, just before you go, sort of what Tiernan, he's trying to find some information, and then sort of subtly suggest, in the course of it, whether or not her allying with Lord Beckford in some way, shape, or form may get her the revenge she wants. It's going to take a couple of days for him to get to that point, but that's sort of what he's trying to do.
I feel like Tiernan's just like constantly talking at her the entire time that they're traveling to get to that point in the conversation.
He's only a couple of steps away.
Mafia without telling
Look,
you
I'm gonna get you to make a persuasion check.
Of course you are.
to see because you are dealing with someone who is currently struggling with an awful lot of grief and may not be terribly interested in these kind of conversations, depending on how well you do or do not approach it. So, roll
13.
that blessed little dice of yours.
13.
I
have not rolled higher than 10 tonight.
Are you still using the digital dice?
Of course I am. Trust me, digital, physical.
You bring it on yourself, sir. You've brought it on yourself.
Okay, so what you would find out, she is not terribly talkative. And probably the first sort of day of you approaching the topic, she would be quite prickly about the whole thing. What you would find out is that the son was the eldest and only son of Duke Beckforth. That from a power structure point of view, the Beckforths are the most powerful of the six great houses of Alamar, and that there's an intricate sort of web of alliances across those various houses. So the implications of what's happening here is quite significant. That the Malagarths are one of the other great houses.
Did you say 6 or 5? Great.
6. So with the Malagarths being another one of the great houses, it just compounds the problem of what's happened here even more significantly. This isn't just sort of some minor dig. This is significant issues between the houses, of which there is often tension lying between those which aren't closely aligned. In regards to the Altons, in regards to her potentially going and getting any kind of revenge by trying to sort of get on side with the Beckforths, most people would know that the Altons were actually allied with the Malagarths in the first place, of which Taris would remind you from what her mother had said to people at one stage, was done purely as a matter of convenience more than anything else. You know, you sort of, the enemy of my enemy is still my enemy but my friend, or something like that. So ultimately, and she would be very harsh about this, her perspective is that she is kind of screwed. Because if she goes to talk to the Beckforths, they're going to be aware that the Altons were originally allied with the Malagarths. And even if for some reason they can convince them otherwise, if they find out that she's had any association with what happened with the death of his son, then she's screwed. So from her point of view, any approach is going to result in her being killed. She's very, very dismissive, very, very depressed about the entire situation. To her, you get very much the feeling that it is a no-win situation.
Okay.
So whilst Tiernan ponders upon that, what is everybody else wanting to do over the next sort of 3 days that it's going to take to get to a review?
Miera would like to, at some point, probably try and not corner. I just don't want Taris necessarily involved with what I would like to do. But I would like to show people some of the things that I have in my bag.
What have you got in your bag?
What has it got in its pockets?
You beat me by half a second.
I'm the ring bearer. What has it got in its pockets?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hang on.
Well,
And she's a hobbit.
And
Miera
she's a half.
Oh, like
That's
Miera
not
will
gonna
kind of like
no.
like, I guess sort of when maybe we're sitting around having something to eat or whatever.
The first night, like Taris would pass out within sort of 5 minutes of putting her head down and would give you guys plenty of sort of private time as required.
So while we're sitting around, Miera will just start pulling some things out of her bag and putting them in front of the group. And she will just say, I don't know what these are. I don't know what they mean. All I know is that Aloysius left them for us. He did say that he was leaving us a gift. So I feel like they have to have some significance.
When you say the word gift, Tiernan quite vocally scoffs.
Miera will pointedly look at him.
I have no idea why Grumpfel would be grinning right about now. Shortly after Tiernan's scoff.
So do we need to go through... I mean, I've been looking at them any chance that I have, but I don't know if we would have to do anything like a identify type situation.
I mean, those of us who've just seen them, does it mean anything to those of us who can now see it, who haven't looked at it before?
So there's a staff, there is a bracelet, some slippers, and a bag. And in the bag, there's like 6 objects. So would we have to do any sort of identify for them?
So Miera, you would know that all of these items, because of the time you've spent with them, give off some kind of magical sense to them.
So I would then explain that I think that they're in some way magical. I don't necessarily know what they do, but I can kind of feel that they've got something about them.
Well,
and I know you probably don't want to have anything to do with them because you're angry about the whole situation and about Aloysius and I mean I just know that he said that he'd leave us some gifts, and he has, and I think that's important.
Let me have a look at them, and Tiernan will, I guess, use Arcana, look over them.
So Arcana, Arcana's not going to necessarily, like what they are. Arcana will let you know, like potentially, like that they're magical and that, like, what are you trying to discover? I guess. What's your?
I'm trying to understand the what sort of basically try to identify them. Whether or not I use Arcana or History or that sort of thing, I'm not really too sure.
So when it comes to the identification of magic items, you've got two choices. You can basically spend a short rest with an item, and it will effectively identify it for you, or you can just cast the identify spell if you've got it. So those are the two sort of approaches. Stuff like Arcana is not necessarily on the ability to identify what a magical item is. It might give you some sort of information around magical elements and stuff like that. But yeah.
Well, wouldn't Miera have already been able to do that then?
Depends on if she's spent time doing it. Depends on what Miera's been doing or what Miera's saying.
Well, in any quiet time that she didn't have anyone noticeably like looking at her, she would have been looking at everything in the bags.
So in her midnight out the window starings.
Yeah. So for the sake of expediency and keeping us rolling along, is everyone cool if I just tell you all what these items are?
Heck yeah.
Okay. All right. These are all in D&D Beyond as well. They are all not, however, official D&D Beyond items. So the bracelet is called Counter Melody Crystals. So this golden bracelet is set with 10 glistening crystal bangles that tinkle when they strike one another. When you must make a saving throw against being charmed or frightened, the crystals vibrate, creating an eerie melody, and you have advantage on the saving throw. If you fail the saving throw, you can choose to succeed by forcing one of the crystals to shatter. Once all 10 shatter, the bracelet is no longer magical. So that is the bracelet. Let me just quickly wind my way through the rest of the stuff here. So in the bag, there are, I believe it was six small apple-sized sort of globes made from a highly reflective silver material that has a single golden rune etched on it. You can use an action to throw one of these up to 60 feet. The globe will explode on impact. Each creature within 10 feet radius of where the globe lands has got to make a dex saving throw, or they take 3d6 radiance damage and they're blinded for a minute. On a success, it's half damage. And they get to make saving throws at the beginning of each turn to get rid of the blindness. They are called radiance bombs. The slippers. The slippers are called the slippers of the cat. So while you wear these fine black cloth slippers, you have advantage on dexterity acrobatics checks to keep your balance. When you fall while you're wearing them, you always land on your feet. And if you succeed on a DC 13 saving throw, you only take half damage. And Cass is very kindly giving links. And then the staff. Which I've lost. Where is it?
I hope the slippers are not made out of anyone Larry knows. We might not want to wear them around him.
What do they feel like a cat?
We haven't seen Larry for a while, just saying.
Who knows? He could turn up in this wood.
That's right. Or have we?
Why do I not have the staff there?
The staff's links in the chat if you need it.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Not the chat, but in our chat.
And in our chat. So the staff is the staff of the lantern bearer. So there's an iron hook that is affixed at the top of this plain wooden staff. While holding the staff, you can use an action to cast the light spell from it at will, but the light can only emanate from the staff's hook. If a lantern hangs from the staff's hook, you gain the following benefits. You can control the light of the lantern, lighting or extinguishing it as a bonus action. The lantern must still have oil, etc., etc. The lantern's flame can't be extinguished by water or wind. If you're a spellcaster, you can use the staff as a spellcasting focus. When you cast a spell that deals fire or radiant damage while using the staff as your spellcasting focus, you gain a +1 bonus to the spell attack roll. All the spell saves DC. Those are the 4 items that Aloysius left behind in the bag.
I would suggest that none of those items make sense for Rowan, which makes sense because Aloysius didn't really know Rowan at all. So,
Despite Grumpfel not wanting to have anything to do with stomach given by Aloysius, I don't think any of those suit Grumpfel really either. So he's quite happy not to
What's
take
your
ownership of them.
damage type, Heath? Because that last one might be good because you're a cleric. And radiant damage is a cleric fun time.
It is a very cleric fun-timey thing.
Yes.
Mhm.
Just an observation that the staff might be your
Well, let me have a look at the
point
link.
of use.
Damn it, I don't want it.
Miera,
Tiernan's
these are all
idol.
strange gifts from
Tiernan's eyeing off the
Them.
counter melody crystals simply because he feels like he's a bit weak in that department.
Those 3-year-olds who rob him are pretty scary, so maybe
Yes.
that'll help.
I'm assuming that's what you had in mind.
Fire or radiant.
straight up grenade at each child at first.
We could take the grenades.
I was kind of looking at the bombs and going, that's a Tiernan thing for sure.
I thought it might have been a Delgrim thing.
I don't know.
I was thinking the cat slippers for Delgrim.
Yeah, so the staff
Maybe.
it says spells that deal fire or radiant damage. Yeah, radiant damage. But does anyone want claim for fire-based spells? Any of our arcane?
My only
amongst us?
fire-based spell is hands-driven, not spell-focus-driven.
That's right. I mean,
So,
Grumpfel will put as much as he doesn't like the idea of something from Aloysius, given what's happened, he will put that aside. Going if he identifies this as something that would ultimately help the party, he's quite happy to do that. But I didn't want to claim it unless someone else, like if no one else wanted it.
No, Tiernan wouldn't want something like that because his spell focus isn't the staff; it's the his pistol, so it's incompatible, really. Oh wait,
How big is this thing?
The staff.
Yeah,
It's about staff-sized.
it's gonna feel like Grump's
would
gonna
be-
feel like he's
Well, yeah,
he's
human
ca-
stuff or no
yeah,
stuff.
I was gonna say
Um,
he feels like he's carrying along a pole vault.
It would be it would be a little bit bigger for Grumpfel, but I mean not horrific or anything like that.
I did have a question for you, Hamish. The arcane fire
Yep.
ability at level 5 for the artillerist. I'm assuming that we were going to allow that to be carved into Tiernan's pistol at a future date.
Probably.
That's what I thought.
So have a ponder about that stuff. Is there anything else anyone wants to talk about, raise with other party members? This is the whole, scoot away to the campfire discussions. Anything anyone wants to have prior to us? Probably taking a break and then kicking back off again with getting to Riverview.
I think there's probably 2 things Delgrim will want to cover off. One, when all of these fancy new items are being passed around. It's quite likely these are cursed in some way, or they will explode in our faces or allow people to track where we are. Just be careful with these things. Also, Miera, do you recall where your new friends were going next? Name of town they said they were visiting next.
Yes, I do. I believe that they were going to. Is it Galleon's Rest?
Yep, perfect.
Sounds about right. And does anyone know where this Dalian's Rest place is? What direction will we come across it on our way to Riverview? Is it opposite direction?
Tiernan has no idea. Well, I'm assuming Tiernan has no idea.
My understanding is it's not in the same direction as Riverview, if I am correct.
Is it
Um,
near Deep Cove?
Make those of you who feel like you sort of know, make probably Rowan, Miera, Grumpfel probably make history checks. They're probably the 3 logical ones.
Oh,
Tiernan
good.
would
That
only really know
negative
the
1 to
main
intelligence.
big
It's going to go
towns.
so well.
I'm assuming
like-
Tiernan only knows the capitals.
3.
I got a 4 minus 1.
Was it history?
Yeah.
4.
Wow.
17.
I was like,
Okay.
like history just feels like not the one that I'd use, but that's all right. I will take that. It's fine.
Now
Well,
got this
if
image
you-
of
if you
Grumpfel giving.
think-
Oh no,
if you-
I rolled a 4, Ham. It's not going to
Yeah.
actually matter. But
I know, but still, for future reference, if you think that there's
Yeah.
something different, or you can put forward a reason, like totally cool with that as
yeah,
well.
no, that's fine.
Yeah, I would have rolled with something I'm good at.
I would have been like, for her, it's more about like she would associate places with good places to go or bad places to go. So my argument would be for something more like wisdomy based rather than intelligence based, because for her it's not a knowledge draw, it's a wisdom draw. So even if it was a flat wisdom roll, but
Okay.
whatever, it's not a problem.
There is actually space to make skill checks using different stats. So I mean, I'm always open to conversations. But for this, that's
For this, I rolled a
based
4,
on the
it doesn't
numbers.
matter.
But good to know for future. But Grumpfel, you're being the more well-travelled of the group. You understand that Dalian's Rest is and Tiernan, like I possibly would have given this to you as well if it wasn't for the fact it's nowhere near where Cartharbal normally goes.
But does it?
Dalian's Rest is the capital of Kingsvale.
Okay.
But from a location point of view, it is northeast. So think of it that you've got Riverview is on one side of this long sort of hilly mountain range called the Usurper Hills. On the opposite side of it is Kingsvale, and up the north part is where Dalian's Rest is. So heading towards Riverview is, it's both directions is north, but you're complete on the wrong side of a bunch of hills, and entirely the wrong sort of duchy as well. So
Region
getting to
of the world.
Dalian's Rest requires basically going east and then heading north.
Okay. Would our gem mine be in that direction?
The gem mine is to the east, and if you went based on the map that Abrasor gave you, you would go east and probably a little bit further east than you need to go, but it's still roughly that direction. Then if you went sort of north, you'd be heading in the right direction, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
So both of them reside in the Duchy of Kingsvale.
Cool.
We'd have to go off bush.
I don't think we go chasing after them exactly right now, but certainly something to keep in mind. I have some questions I would like to ask of Miera's new friends. And in
yes,
Undercommon,
very.
real quickly, he'll also just kind of start muttering. Speaking of questions, Grumpfel, when we get to Riverview, there are questions about Rowan, or about this Thea that told us that Rowan is in fact dead. We will want to
It does
investigate.
bear a line of inquiry. Absolutely.
And Delgrim won't say much more than that, so he's deliberately sort of saying it in such a way that it sounds like he's just swearing or something on the back of the first
Yeah,
part of the
it's-
conversation.
It's like German when you're professing love. It just sounds like someone's, yelling.
Okay. Anybody else with anything they want to do prior to us just slipping off to break?
What Grumpfel would probably do in this time, let me know when there's a reset of long break for spells and what have you. But
There would be. Yep.
Grumpfel would be assessing while he's still got some slots free and a divine healing thing, it'd be looking at the party, seeing who has any bumps, cuts, scrapes, that sort of thing. Anyone that needs any healing, he'd be happy to dole that out before it resets with a long rest.
Yeah. No, all good, all good. I think everyone would be all healed up. All long rest buttons can be hit. You're all rested up. You're all good to go. So
Sorry, Rowan gets a long rest in the ring, then Rowan gets a long rest of on
Yeah,
the cart.
yeah,
It's good.
yeah.
She's very well rested.
I'm very well rested.
So rested.
So towards the end of towards the end of the second day, sort of at dusk, you guys would emerge out the other side of Review, out
sorry.
the other side of the Darkingwood, sorry, and you would see off in the distance the lights of Riverview. And from there, we're gonna go have a little 5-10 minute break, and then we'll come back and we will explore Rowan's hometown. And we'll see what kind of questions some of the party's going to start asking.
And we might get to enjoy Hamish's Irish accent if we run into my family.
Don't know if enjoy is the word. And didn't we work out that your family couldn't speak? I think was the conclusion that we came to.
I don't remember such
I
a
think
thing.
it was. I think
How
that-
else would I have learned my lovely brogue? Ham?
from people who have now left town. Anyway,
Well,
From your
look,
ancient grandfather.
they could
Yeah.
be speechless because Rowan's dead. So when she rocks up, it's going to be a bit weird.
okay. We'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes. As always, thank you very much, everyone, for hanging out with us. Yeah, let's see what happens next. We'll see you soon.
Have we got Em on standby? We're bringing her in after the break.
Stranger things have happened.
Ooh.
Oh, welcome back, everyone. As always, thank you very much to everyone who is hanging out with us tonight. We all very much appreciate you making the choice to spend your time with us. It's really awesome. So where we left off, it was just after dusk, and the party had emerged from the Darking Wood and we are looking down onto the township of Riverview, Rowan's hometown. Riverview it's kind of halfway between Harrow and Greenfield. It's certainly not the same, almost city size that Harrow was, but it's not the same sort of tranquil little village that Greenfield was. It's definitely somewhere in the middle. And you can see also from your position a river running very nearby as well. There's a number of lights scattered through the township, obviously from torches or lanterns. And Rowan, from this position, you can probably pinpoint like everything that you can see from where you are. You know, the Riverman Rye Tavern, the local stores, where your house is, you know, the Blunderball training field, like the entire everything. It's a comfort after, you know, being traveling for, you know, it's been a few weeks, few months now, I think, away.
Oh, wow.
So the question is, where are you guys going to go?
You can see, like, as she can see Riverview, like her demeanor has shifted because it looked like she has remembered it, as opposed to the potential for it to have been like ravaged in some way or something. She doesn't expect that it would have happened that fast, but it's been 4 days or 5 days by my maths, since the explosion at the theater.
3, 4, yeah, probably about 4 or 5 days. Yeah.
So she was slightly worried that people might have come up from Deep Cove already. So you can see her sort of relax. But the town looks just like she remembers.
And you would know that like Deep Cove from here is still, it's probably 5 or 6 days away, probably at least.
She was more worried that people had like moved through the night and not stopped, and like
absolutely,
that they'd covered that distance in a faster time on horseback or whatever than she was expecting.
Yeah, for sure. So whereabouts are you going to head to next?
Like, she's going to start walking towards town, but I think the others probably have their own decisions to make in that regard.
Oh, heck no. So Delgrim's just going to follow Rowan.
Tiernan doesn't know the area, so he's
Just
just
following
following
The
the
moment
group.
she hasn't said anything about where she's going. She's just going towards town.
And as she steps over
Follow-
the boundary
follow.
of the town, she dissipates.
This
Oh,
is your
Delgrim.
hometown. Mm.
Like they're following her like the Durgarazzi.
Well, so
Okay.
what does your family do, Rowan? Tiernan's literally going to start the conversation as we're walking into town.
I told you, my dad's a farmer. She literally told you this in her last major like big conversation. She's like, my dad's a farmer. I don't know. We're just normal people. And you're like, what does your family do? She's like,
What do they
"My dad's
grow?
a farmer."
What do they grow here in Riverview?
I'm a lad
We-
farmer.
I
Sorry.
farm stuff.
Farm says, It really depends. We sort of made a decision to do like basic grains and things because they seem to sell the best, and it doesn't really matter where we're going. So if we want to take stuff down to Deep Cove, or if we're doing a run to Harrow, the same sort of stuff sells. So that's what we decided. Makes more sense.
Oh, okay. So food, like grain for foodstuffs, or grain more for brewery?
Lots of different. Why are you asking? Why are you so interested in what my dad does for work? She's
Not
like
so much
fully
what your
confused. It's
da-
like no one has expressed this much interest in Rowan this entire time. And she's now like, why am I being interrogated about my dad?
Blinky,
I'm not-
Blinky
I'm not-
pops out like an interrogation spotlight in your face.
What's this gross capital gain per annum? And
Yeah, like, what's going on?
Tiernan is just trying to get a feel for what they grow in the area, and you being from
Well,
a farming family, he's trying
right.
to ascertain that.
Right. she's just like, it's like different kinds depending on the sea. Why are you asking me about my dad though? Like, it's just a town. I mean, there's the pub, and she's like pointing at things. Like, there's the pub, and there's where I used to buy my like farming clothes, but I don't shop there. Like, when I want stuff that's nice, you go to that one. Like, and she's just like pointing at things like down the high street.
Well, I don't mean like
Um,
specifically for your dad. I'm just generally curious about what they grow in Riverview.
Oh, lots of different things. It's sort of a like, because it's a hub place where lots of people want lots of things. We sort of have a bunch of different crops that are growing, because that way we don't really have to go to outside sources to get food and things. We're
Oh, yeah,
sort
so
of
it's
self-sufficient
self-sustainable.
in that way, which is kind of why we don't, like we were talking about the other day. It's kind of why we don't have an allegiance per se, because we don't need one, I guess. Exactly. Like, people who have other things bring them to town because we're a trading port, so we get what we need, but we don't really have any need to ally with anyone in particular.
So this main road that we're in on that goes straight through town, so that this actually goes to Deep Cove, does it?
It goes a roundabout way. Most of the time people put things on the river instead because it's easier. It goes straight down to the coast. So,
Okay, so it's,
like, you
it's
can see
actually
there's like a
making
little
lot more
dock and
sense
some
now.
little boats and stuff. Yeah.
It's making a lot
Yeah,
more
yeah,
sense of
you-
what you're actually saying, where it's like
Yeah.
Riverview is literally situated between the transit between Harrow and Deep Cove,
Yeah.
so it's starting to make a lot more sense to Tiernan.
Delgrim does not look happy.
He's being very quiet. He's just quietly following along.
So,
You can.
I don't know.
Terrace is also sort of listening to the conversation quite openly as well.
I don't know, it's home. Towns are towns, I guess. Home is where you... Sorry. I went to say home is where the Wi-Fi is, which is my current running phrase, and that doesn't make any sense.
What? How do you,
know.
cast Wi-Fi?
Cast Wi-Fi. Sorry, D20 in the chat. Have we just covered Tiernan's doing tax returns using the party's family details?
He does now.
Yeah.
So what depreciating assets did your family have?
Oh my god. Okay. So
Can we claim all
I
these
don't
new
know.
magic
Is there
items as
anything you
depreciating
want to-
assets?
Is there anything you want to see? I mean, we can... Like, it's my hometown. It's kind of boring. It's just a town.
I'd love to see the town graveyard at some time.
She looks at you like... Very much like, why? Like, what kind of weird... That's a very weird request that you've just put onto the play.
Tiernan leans down to your own. Hide the shovels.
She looks up at you, equally confused by this sentence. Like, what?
as you sort of are making your way down sort of the main road of Riverview, again, it's evening, so there's not a lot of traffic on the streets, but a couple of people will recognize you, Rowan, and you get a few, "Oh, Rowan, it's good to see you again," and a few waves from
Hey.
people, and "Hi, Rowan."
Oh, yeah. Do you know if Dad's at home?
It's an elderly halfling that you sort of you pull up with this one. He's like, "Oh, I believe so. I came back from a trip a few days ago. I think he's at home."
Yeah. Awesome. I just wasn't sure if he was like at Deep Cove or whatever. That's
No,
fine.
he came back. I think he was. I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago. I think.
Okay.
Where have you been? I actually haven't seen you around for a while.
Oh,
And who are these? Who are these people? I haven't seen them before.
sorry. These are my friends. I think I don't know if Da told everyone. I went. I wanted to see more of the world, not just here, just so I could bring back information and knowledge and understanding, so that we are like a better town and you know, see more interesting things. She's sort of rambling in a way of like not really wanting to answer the question, but kind of like answering it enough that someone's going to be like, yeah.
And this older halfling, he's bald,
Yeah.
with sort of these tufts of white hair sticking out. Nice little waistcoat, well dressed, little
Hide from
cane.
Miera,
And he
got it.
kind of, sorry.
hide him from Miera. Got it.
Yeah. Look out.
It was never me. I will continue to point this out.
I wasn't there. I don't know.
So he sort of looks you up and down a little bit as you sort of you stumble around the words, and the end he's just like, well, I mean, I'm sure your mum and dad will be happy to see you again.
Yeah,
it's good to have you back in town. Are you staying for a while or?
No, we just wanted to like stop by, because my friends were interested in where I grew up and stuff. So we were close. So I thought it was nice and easy.
Okay. Well, I mean, and enjoy your time here. It's always good to see you again.
Do you know if the inn's full? She's just like asking in that sort of like way that everyone in a small town like this knows if there's a bunch of new random people staying at the pub.
Yeah. It's like, I think it's been a bit quiet around here the last sort of few days. I think there's probably a few rooms spare.
Oh, all right. Thanks.
All right.
Have fun.
Have a good night.
Say hi to your. And like she assumes that he's like wandered off, and she's like halfway through the thought of like, say hi to I can't remember your kid's name because they were in school with me, but I don't remember them.
Tim,
like,
clear house.
The third.
Yeah, the third.
Out of curiosity, we're walking down the town. Is everyone like? Is a lot of the population halfling?
As I said before, there's not a lot of people out on the streets, but the halflings do seem to represent a definitive chunk of the population. Like they're definitely not uncommon.
Tiernan's going to be ducking down to get through doorways then.
No,
I mean,
just fear. Yeah,
everything's built for like regular sized folk, but there'll be certain sort of accessibility things put in around and stuff like that. I mean, Rowan, for you, almost half the population is actually halfling. Like there is a large.
We talked about like
halfling
almost half, but there's like a bunch of other.
Yeah.
Not halfling.
I can't remember what you said. Furbolgs and
there's a decent chunk of humans, but there's half elves, bugbears, furbolgs. Yeah.
There's other people.
Yeah, very similar to the sort of the rest of the population makeup that you've encountered in this part of the world, beyond the fact that there's just more halflings than anything else here. So where are you leading the group to, Rowan? Are you heading towards one of the taverns, or are you heading towards home, or?
I think she's heading towards the tavern because she doesn't necessarily want people to come home with her, but she doesn't feel like rocking up to her parents' place with a bunch of random people in tow without like seeing them first is an okay thing to do. Like. You don't just front up on your front doorstep with 5 other random people that they don't know or know anything about.
Yeah. No, absolutely. All right.
It's got this image of Delgrim kicking the door and he goes, I want passports, I want the birth certificates.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So you would, in that case, you'd lead them down towards to the Riverman. The rest of you guys would see a fairly large inn built right on the edge of the river. There's a large water wheel on the side, slowly turning away. Very well made building. Think of those very sort of picturesque European kind of villages. And as you get close, there's plenty of light pouring forth from the various windows, and you can hear inside, or coming from inside, over the low murmur of voices, the sound of a piano being played, and being played exceptionally well. You head inside, and you can see that the inn itself is fairly busy at this time of night. You're hit straight away by the smell of food. A lot of spices, but also it would seem that there's some sort of like fish-based meal or something that's been cooked here. So there's a very sort of spicy fish scent in the air. There's a large hearth of which there's no fire currently burning because it's still the warmer months of the year. In one corner, you can see a piano. And sitting at the piano, you can see a halfling playing away. She's kind of delightfully plump, shall we say, with this chocolate brown hair cut in a very sort of short bob, with these red rosy cheeks, and wearing a really bright tunic of blue. Absolutely absorbed in the music that she's playing. Behind the bar, you can see a large Goliath. Currently appears to be having a conversation with a couple of other patrons. Quite slender for a Goliath, with thick black hair worn in a very tight ponytail and very sort of craggy features. Apron on, white, few sort of the classic kind of stains that your typical kind of apron of someone who wears it a lot and works in this sort of place has. But there's a very warm, welcoming vibe to the entire establishment, as opposed to the last tavern you were in, where it was like, awesome, come here, get drunk, get stabbed, have a good time. This is like getting home, putting on your favorite slippers, putting on your favorite dressing gown, and just nestling in with a good book. And you can also smell the scent of bread, like fresh baked bread being cooked as well. Again, there's a few people in here who spot you, Rowan, and there's a few cherry waves and a few highs. No one kind of goes out of their way to race over to say hi, but it's that, it's not quite the, norm from Cheers, but it's still there like, oh, hey, we know who you are. Hey, Rowan, how are you going?
Where everybody knows your name. That
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah.
Importantly, though, no one is gasping in terror that the obviously dead Rowan is has walked into the bar.
No,
Okay.
there's no like,
Where everybody knows you're not dead.
Dead.
They're all in on it.
Where nobody knew you were supposed to be dead. Yeah.
there are a few people though who do a double take when they look around. They see, hey, Rowan, and then they sort of look back at this interesting collection that you've got following you. You've got a Durga, a deep gnome, you've got a shardfolk, you've got another halfling, there's an incredibly tall hobgoblin there. And so there is a few looks as your group makes its way in.
I want to know how everyone else feels about this, because I'm just in the pub in my hometown. This is like normalcy.
Tiernan looks really confused when he walks into the building, so much so that he steps back out to look at the water mill, then comes back in and he's really confused because he doesn't see where the water mill, what it's actually doing. He's trying to work out what the water mill attached to this building is actually doing, and he's really confused because he can't see what it's doing.
You would be able to see that where it is not immediately adjacent to the common room, and that there is probably another part of the building which is attached to, which is maybe got something to do with it. So once you kind of get all those looks and stuff like that,
she's gonna go up to the bar. Theodore.
The large Goliath sort of excuse me to the person who's talking, and looks at her and goes, "Hi, Rowan, it's been a while. It's good to see you again. How are you?"
But I did the wandering and the traveling thing that we talked about before I left. Anyway, friends, and she's like pointing behind. I don't think they'll all fit in Ma and Da's house. So, have you got rooms at the moment, or are they all full of like traveling people and stuff?
No. We've got probably got at least 4 spare rooms at the moment. It's been a bit quiet the last few days. But yes, no, I somehow think that your parents probably wouldn't appreciate you rolling up with this many people.
No, and I don't think the ceilings are high enough either. No.
No,
She's
I
laughing
think,
in the sort of like their house is built for halflings and
Yeah.
these guys are not going to fit. Like,
and he's definitively laughing along. He's like, no,
Yeah.
I very much agree. No, look, welcome to use the rooms we've got here. It's 3 silver pieces a night. But yeah, plenty of space for them. We be needing food as well, or
let me check with them what they want to do and whether they want to. But I just wanted to check that it was free before I said
absolutely,
they could and stuff. Yeah.
of course. And I
Okay.
mean, yes, no, absolutely. And if you want food, let me know, and we can get something sorted out for that as well. That's not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, it's
She's
my
like going to
pleasure.
go
It's good.
back.
We'll have to have a talk. I'd love to hear some about, and hear about your journeys. It's been a while since I've been away, so.
She's like nodding emphatically and turns back towards the group. She's like, okay, so my and Dad's house is like me sized. So if you want to stay in town for a day or so, you're gonna have to stay here. But Fyodor can set you up for that. If you like. That's Fyodor. Like Theodore, but with a F.
Brilliant.
Theodore, yeah. Not Theodore, but Fyodor.
Yeah, don't get any weird conspiracies. Theodore,
No, this is
Thea. Oh my god.
Fyodor. Not the same thing.
No. There are still a few people looking at the group, mainly older individuals, sort of that maybe the slightly more who are these strange people in my town kind of vibe going on, but no one in a malicious or sort of nasty sense.
So they're quite open about it.
Well, some of them are trying to be subtle, but nothing,
Subtle as a brick in a country town.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking that because Blinky is usually on the lookout, he'd probably turn straight, look at them, and just do the big blink staring at them in response. Tiernan wouldn't notice. Blinky just would do it.
And you would, and a few more would, upon actually sort of noticing Blinky, would there's probably a few nudges and a few, well, what they would think is subtle, but probably not very subtle sort of points and stuff like that. Fyodor says, there's just before you go around, there's a spare table in the corner there. If you and your friends want to take that, I can come and sort you out drinks.
Okay. I'll come back and let you know when we're ready for food, because some of these guys take a minute to have a think.
That's fine.
So she'll sort of wander over to the corner table, knowing
Cool.
where it is and knowing where he'll be referring to.
So what are the rest of you guys doing? Are you just sort of trailing along, or?
Yeah, over to that same table. I think Delgrim's just going to kind of sink into the seat a little bit and just kind of stare at Rowan. I am sorry I doubted you. It is infuriating to me. It seemed this Thea that you switched places with. I was so sure she was telling truth. There was nothing to indicate that she lied. She fully believed you dead, and your mother is grieving your death, and had joined the gardening gnomes, some group of people. I don't understand. I would like to try and find this Thea.
Are you familiar with the is it the Aramori family that she was from?
Himori?
Amori. Does that ring any bells, Rowan?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Ham, but this is a name I knew, but I didn't know her first name, if
Correct,
I recall
yeah.
correctly.
Yeah.
I mean, the last name is familiar, but I don't know it.
Later, after you visit your parents, after you settle in to your home, maybe we track them down and try and find this thing and understand what is going on here.
That's what you want to do. She's gonna turn to like the rest of the group and just be like, "Do you want food and things, or like they make? In case you can't smell it, they make a really good house bread, and it goes really well with like garlic And like the whipped butter from the dairy up the road goes real nice. Can you put cheese on it?
That sounds good. I want some of that. And a hot chocolate. They have hot chocolate?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is the kind of
So-
pub that like you came to as a kid with your family. So yes, they have hot chocolate.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Whatever you think, whatever you
While
recommend,
the
Rowan.
parents are having a whiskey
Polar-
in the corner.
Yeah.
Polar opposite to the one we left.
Yeah.
Quite
over.
literally. Yeah. Yeah.
Why do you
Um,
think Rowan is
Yeah,
such a
that was hot
wholesome little
chocolate, but that was
bean?
anyway.
Like, Rowan is such a wholesome bean because she's from a very wholesome little place.
So, sort of over the next sort of half an hour, you guys get served a bunch of food. There is some freshly cooked loaves of bread along with the garlic butter. There are big steaming bowls of this fish stew, which is probably a little bit spicier than you'd originally sort of anticipate, but not uncomfortably so. Some amazing flavors mixed through it, all brought out to you by this very, very skinny gnome with blonde hair and glasses, which Rowan, you know, is Gordon. He does a lot of the cooking and serving here. Terrace is very quiet with all of this. You can see that she's sort of just watching everything that's going on, following everyone else's lead. She seems fairly uncomfortable, and sort of positions herself near you, Delgrim, for the moment.
Rowan, is there anyone you want to advise who runs the town, or possibly the mayor, about what's happening in Harrow and potential consequences?
She sort of looks down and goes, I wanted to make sure you guys were okay before I go and talk to Ma and Da, because I think it might come better from them. Da and the mayor get along pretty good, so me just waltzing back into town and seeing stuff is one thing, but like coming from people who haven't left this town like ever, other than to go to Harrow and Deep Cove, it probably comes a bit more with a bit more standing.
Well, it's your hometown. You would know it better than anyone else. Just, yeah.
Are you guys all right here if I go do that? It's just, she like looks directly at Tina and goes, you might not fit in Ma and Da's house.
No, I'm good.
That's all.
I'm good here. Tiernan's quite comfortable with, drinking food and whatnot.
Yeah.
Don't know
The
about
question
anyone
is,
else.
everyone else can let it go, yeah?
Yeah.
Was there rooms available?
Theodore can set you up. He said he thinks there's 4, but I'm not sure how there's 4 of you, but there's also you, and like she's like pointing around, like the way that you don't necessarily use someone's names if you're like talking in a group. That very natural, like, well, you guys are fine, but you, on the other hand, so
Delgrim,
you
would
4
like
like there'll be plenty, but like
Delgrim,
know.
would you like to we'll bunk in together?
If there are only 4 room, yeah, that is fine.
I would really like a room to myself.
And I dare say our companion Grumpfel, not quite sure whether to say her title out loud, but then doesn't feel comfortable calling her by her first name. I dare say our companion would like a room to.
That would be my preference. Yes, says Terrace.
Well, presumably Rowan will be staying with the folks, yeah?
I'd like to. I mean, I think Ma might not let me leave once I get there for at least like a couple hours. So should probably do the stay in there, and then at least I have an excuse to come out in the morning and be like, I've got to go check on my friends who are staying at the inn. Blah blah blah.
Did you want company while you go to family home? Or do you want to go on your own?
I don't mind. I mean, it's Ma and Dad. It's not like it's a big, scary. I've done this walk across town loads of times. Like, what time of the evening would you say it is?
It's still early evening, like it's just after dark. Probably you've been at the inn now for maybe half an hour with all the food and stuff. So,
I mean, I've walked this home at like in the wee small hours, so this is like an easy walk. There's nothing's going to be a problem.
Oh,
That'd be fine.
I'm just wondering if you want company. I feel bad for accusing you of being dead, which seems to not be the case. So I thought if you want company, I can come with you. But if not, that's fine.
It's up to you. I don't really mind. I don't really mind because like it's going home, right? It might. She like stops and thinks about it for a second and goes, maybe don't come. Ma and Dad might jump to conclusions if I'm not careful. Yeah, maybe stay here. She's like thinking about it. She's like, oh no, Mum and Dad are going to be like, you brought a boy home. She's like, I do not want this. I do not
and
want
the
this at
DM
all.
was sitting here going, "Oh my god, this is
I
going to be
know.
great."
Kate's not that stupid.
If Ham does the Irish accent, it's all worth it. Kate, just go.
Ham's
with
gonna
it.
have to because I'm going home to see Mum and Dad, so that's fine.
The moment you mentioned that, Tiernan, who had a drink to his mouth, went
Yeah.
like this. He got it immediately.
Yeah.
Even Terrace, you can see cracks a smile for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
You know, Delgrim, you should go with Rowan.
I'm happy to go with Rowan.
I
He
haven't
just puts his
performed.
biggest smile on his
Assumptions
face
are
and leans back
otherwise.
and drinks.
I haven't performed a matrimonial ceremony in a while, but I'm just kidding.
Matrimony. When you're not talking about assumptions that you have joined Dwargar Rangers.
No.
No.
You know what? I'll go by myself. You stay here, and she's gonna look very pointedly at Grumpfel and Tiernan and be like, maybe the others can inform you as to why I asked you not to come. I'm sure my ma and Dad either come down with me to the inn later, or like they'll be happy. We'll meet up tomorrow or something.
Don't forget to ask while you're there about Thea and garden gnomes.
She rolls her eyes and are like, oh yeah, anything else for the list? Like stuff she has to do when she gets home. Okay, so I'll tell Theodore on my way out that you will stay, but that you guys will work out who's staying where and how that's all gonna work. Yeah?
I think we already had done that, hadn't we? But
No,
yeah,
but
okay.
like that's what she's gonna tell, like that you guys will fill him in on what you
Mhm.
are gonna do. So she's gonna go via the thing and just be like, I'm gonna go see Ma and Dad. They're the ones in the corner. Yes, they'll stay, but I don't know what the sleeping situation's gonna be yet.
That's fine. We're all adults. I'm sure I'll organize the rooms. They can work out who's in what room. I'm sure it'll be fine. You pass on, say hello to your parents for me. I haven't seen them down here it's been a week or two now.
I mean, I think Dad has been away down at
He's
Deep
been
Cove.
away, but yeah. But I mean, still, it's nice to have them down here occasionally. Maybe you can bring them down.
I'll remind them that the pub exists.
Yes, that would be wonderful. Thank you, Rowan. And again, it's really good to see you.
She's gonna like not skip out the door, but if you were like that light-footed in your like that comfort of going to a place that you are used to going to, that is a comfort after being away from that comfortable place for a while.
Yep. Awesome.
That is what's happening.
So you head off towards your home. The rest of the party, is there anything in particular you guys are wanting to sort of do whilst Rowan is away?
I want to see where that delightful bread smell's coming from.
The bread that's on the
The
table.
bread, yeah, the
on
wonderful,
the table, sorry.
wonderful loaf of bread that is on the
Right,
table. in
sorry,
front of you
yes,
right
yes, that's exactly what I meant.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I love that the chat has just realized that I have yet again managed to not pay for anything.
Yeah.
So
Well done.
Yeah.
Not on purpose, chat. Not on
Mm.
purpose.
Yeah.
Like really not.
Mm,
All right.
Hate the
Please,
player.
questionable.
Not on purpose.
So
Sorry, go.
no, I was going to say, yeah. So plans for any of you guys?
Do
Apart
they
from a-
have baths?
Do they have baths?
Yes.
Oh, excuse me. Yes,
There's a perfectly good river there.
they do have baths. There's there's two sort of bath rooms, I guess you could call them, where there's a large sort of clawfoot baths set up, which you can essentially hire. It's like a silver piece each.
I'd like to have bath.
Yeah, more than like Theodore's more than happy to get you sorted out with that. They can bring you clean towels. They'll get you sorted out with hot water.
I want slippers. I want a bathrobe. I want a rubber ducky.
Okay, so he's like, well, we don't quite go that far, sorry, miss.
I want room service.
We can give you nice, clean, fresh towels, very nicely scented soaps and the like. The water will be very hot. We can even make it slightly fragranted if you'd like.
Please.
Yep, absolutely. And he goes about getting that sorted out for you.
But Tiernan, apart from mild curiosity of what the wheel is actually turning, and the what's involved with that, he would also probably take the opportunity to have a decent bath as well.
Yep, for sure. Anybody else?
Delgrim's not going to have a bath. He will ask everybody in this bar about the Emery family and provide a description of Thea and try and get a response as to where he might find her. And also throw in a question about the Garden Gnomes group that Thea is a member of.
Who are you going to approach first in regards to that?
It'll just be by proximity, so he'll just
Gordon
make his
or
way
Thea.
around the room from the table they're at.
Please make it Gordon. Make it Gordon.
What was that?
Make it Gordon, the poor gnome.
Yeah.
Poor Gordon.
Well, no, that's actually a fair point. So he would go up. He would ask the gnomes first because that's sensible.
Okay. So yeah, so Gordon is the one who's providing you with all the food and stuff. So yeah, absolutely. If you want to head him up, yeah, for sure. What does Gordon know? Okay. He's putting like another loaf of bread down, like this is like your second or third loaf for the group. And you hit him up about the Kumoris. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know the Kumoris. Regis and Dorothea. Yeah, they just live up on the small hill just outside of town.
Dorothea, you say?
Yeah.
And
Are you friends of theirs or?
no, but I think we met their daughter, Thea.
Thea. Gosh, I haven't heard that name in a while. Okay.
You not heard in a while? Is how long ago you hear that name?
Well, it's probably been 15 or 20 years, I suppose.
Are they not here in this place now?
No, my I know she left a while back. I didn't really know her very well, but and kind of everyone sort of knows everybody else around here for the most part. But no, she left a long time ago. I just remember someone mentioning something about her, like I think she'd come back. I can't remember the details. I all I know is that they got a daughter called Thea, but she doesn't live here anymore.
Okay. And have you heard of when we met her? She said she part of of group here called Garden Gnomes. Sound
Garden
like
gnomes. Seems like a kind of a strange name. No, I don't know anything
It-
about any
it
garden
is
gnomes.
strange name. You're
It's-
right.
Yeah. No, it doesn't ring any bells to me. Sorry.
Okay, that's strange. I'm going to ask those same questions of everyone in bar here now. But thank you for your help.
You're very welcome. Sure. Maybe can I just offer just one? Can I just maybe give just a little bit of advice? Maybe
you can offer it.
I can. Sure. Maybe. I mean, going and asking everybody is. I don't know. Some people might find it a bit intrusive in some respects. I mean, Theodore knows probably most about the town than or a lot about the town than most people. I mean, we like people to come here and have a nice relaxing time, and having someone coming into town and then walking around and asking everybody questions like it's some sort of interrogation, kind of, some people might find it a bit awkward.
This is problem for those people. It's not problem for me.
It's also a problem for our establishment in certain respect, and we want people to be comfortable here. I'm not going to stop you from doing. I'm just trying to give you some just healthy advice. Maybe talk to Theodore.
That is fair point. I cannot promise I will not eventually make my way around and question everyone, but I'll start with Theodore, and we shall see.
All right. Well, I mean, in the meantime, here's another loaf of bread, and he heads off with another. He's got a second tray that he takes off somewhere else.
Brilliant. Is the bread free?
No. The bread's not free. Food-wise, it would be another 2 silver pieces for everybody with sort of the food that's been provided. So 3 silver pieces per room, 2 silver pieces per person for food. Unless, of course, you've skipped out without paying and left the tab up to the rest of the group.
Put it on Rowan's tab.
Tab is 2 silver pieces. It's a half a silver piece each. You're fine.
And all the other tabs.
Yeah.
No, we'll assume that Delgrim will have contributed to the food money then. And yeah, we'll ask the same questions of Theodore.
So you hit up Theodore, and he says, yeah, the Kimoris, Regis and Dorothea, yep, small house, outskirts of town. Doughty say Thea, long time since she's been here, probably, gosh, when would have she left? Gosh, she's about the same age as your friend Rowan's parents, actually. She's a little bit older. 30, 40 years. She left when she was fairly young. Falling out amongst the family, I think. The last I heard was that she was in Harrow. She'd, I don't know, joined up with some group in Harrow or something like that.
Do you recall what the name of this group is?
I'm not sure, but I know it's the Prism Quells. Prism Quells. What was your name again? Coslet Prism Quell. Apparently, became quite good friends with her.
Where I find this Coslet?
In Harrow.
In Harrow.
In Harrow.
This could be problem. Not very helpful for me right now. I have no intention of going back to Harrow for a while. I don't think anyone should probably go to Harrow for a while.
Why?
World events. I'm sure I will wait until Rowan has spoken with her father. There's a whole plan about how to introduce this information into community without scaring everyone and sending everyone into panic.
So you can see Theodore's brain kind of going. I'm sorry. So what was your name again? Sorry, Sir Rowan didn't introduce.
Delgrim.
Delgrim.
Delgrim Harrowfell.
Look, Delgrim, what you've said's just a little bit disconcerting, to be frank. I would look. I'm not going to say anything else to other people, but I mean, if I would be very interested to know why we shouldn't be going to Harrow and what these world events are. I mean, we have fairly strong trade with Harrow, and suddenly not being able to go there or not being able to trade or anything like that could certainly impact on our small town here.
That will be unfortunate, but these things happen. You'll survive.
Well, maybe if you
Probably.
could give a little bit more information, would be wonderful, please. I mean, I feel like I gave you some information that you were asking for. It's exchange of knowledge.
Look, you certainly did. Let's just say for now, again, it's not my place. I have agreed to let Rowan break this news to her home gently. Or at least that is plan. I'm trying to be more considerate of my friends and their feelings. I feel like this put me in a difficult situation because I would like to tell you how there is impending danger from all quarters around this beautiful little town. But I feel that might not be taken well.
One time we let Delgrim off by himself.
Yeah.
And not
look,
to panic people. 101.
Not to panic or
Hey.
anything, but you're in grave danger. But don't
Yeah.
panic.
Yeah. But it's fun. I'll let someone else give you all the details about why you're all going to die immediately. Look, Delgrim. So Rowan.
It's probably best for you to talk to Rowan when she come back. I feel this.
So
is...
she's got more information than you. Is
wouldn't go that far, but she's much better at delivering this kind of information.
Well, I feel like you've already kind of stepped over the barrier or the threshold of how comfortable or uncomfortable it might be actually is, because I'm a little bit concerned now, and I've been out into the world before. I'm not an unworldly kind of individual. So I would like to know more of what you're saying. I'm happy to keep it just between you and I, and so there's no panic or concern. But
just between you and I, then, and Delgrim will kind of lay down. There is likely to be war coming between Harrow and Deep Cove. Bad things have happened to not very nice people. Things could get difficult for a time.
war.
Almost definitely, yes. As I understand.
Wow.
Let's buy up real estate while
Yeah. The market bottoms out. It's all part of Tiernan's big tax plan.
No, it's important to buy all the beans before a war breaks out.
War is coming. Okay, have a good night.
Gosh, that's a lot to take on board. I might need to do you know if Rowan's got any plans to talk to Rose at all, or sorry, you hear Rose Thistletop. She's the mayor of the town.
Oh, this is why Rowan wished to speak to her father. I think she and her father are going to speak to mayor of town. And then more information, maybe. I imagine township will want more information than we have. Also, this is decision for community, not decision for us newcomers to make for you.
Okay. Gosh. Well, thank you for letting me know, and I suppose I look forward to hearing more from. Sure, looking forward is the right word, but I suppose I'll hear more from Rowan or maybe from Rose once Rowan has talked to them about the situation. Can I get you anything else to drink? And the conversation would sort of trail off.
Yeah,
You just
no.
ruined this poor man's day.
I think Delgrim he'll probably just sit with the idea of Thea being last known to be in Harrow and just kind of park that then.
Okay.
And he'll just go back to the table.
So we'll swing back now to Rowan. Carefree, popping down the road, heading towards home. What is when you get to home? What is home like for Rowan? What is Rowan's home?
Do you mean what does it look like, or do you
Yeah,
mean
like what is
Rowan's
Rowan's house that you grew up in like?
I think it's like, I don't want to say coziness personified, but like that idea of the sort of, in fact, conveniently, that, or like one of the sort of like quintessential like little English village style houses. That's probably got like, I think her bedroom would have been upstairs, but the whole house itself isn't as tall as like a standard house because it's halfling sized.
Yeah.
Which is great because it means that people who they don't want to come over can't, and they have to go to other people's houses, which is like less cleaning up. Works really well. But it's sort of full of like soft furnishings and things that after a long day of farming, people just kind of want to collapse into, rather than being a like, it's not a very formal place. In the same way that she's not a very formal person.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Excellent. So you arrive at the family house. Are you the type of quiet house being shut? Oh my god. Yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Type of quiet house seen in
Yeah.
shows like Midsummer Murders.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you just straight through the front door, or are you?
She probably stops and hesitates because she realizes that like they're gonna have one of two reactions, which is either, "Oh my gosh, you're back," or like, "Oh my gosh, you're back. What's wrong?" And she's not really sure what reaction she's gonna get. And because of that, instinctively knocks on the door rather than just opening the door, because she doesn't want to walk in if they're not expecting anyone to walk in, because that's the manners part that her parents taught her. It's like, you don't just barge into the house.
There's a moment, and you can hear sort of some muffled voices inside. And then the door swings open, and you're bathed in this warm light from inside that comes from a number of lanterns that have been set up, which just fill the interior of this building with light. Standing in front of you is an older and slightly rounder version of you. Hair pulled back, streaked with grey, a very kind of bright green dress with an apron on, and you can see obviously they've been probably in the middle of like doing some cooking or something like that. Some flour marks on the front. As your mother is before you, and you can see she sort of blinks. And she's, Rowan?
What does they have? In what accent does she say it in?
You fucking don't. Performance anxiety. Leave me alone.
Take your time, buddy. You got this. We believe in you.
She's speechless. Fuck you all.
Hey, Ma.
Rowan, and she just steps out and just wraps you up in the biggest hug, like enough to sort of like lift you off the ground. Gives you sort of that sort of that gentle sort of swing side by side before she puts you down. Sort of takes a step back. She goes, "Oh, you've got some dirt on your face. Let's hold still." She starts to sort of white. No, it's oh my God, Kian! And you can hear her calling out, and his voice from inside the house goes, "Oh, what do you want, Bonnie?" And then this gentleman appears behind. Not quite as much of a carbon copy as you, but the same. There's a couple of very distinctive features, especially the eyes. Like if they put you side by side, the eyes are a dead giveaway. Again, grey hair. He's got a small pipe sticking out the corner of his mouth. Little waistcoat, quite well dressed. He just looks, well. Don't stand outside. Come inside. And he like literally grabs you. Like on one side, your mother grabs you on the other side. Anybody who was out on the street would have thought you've just been abducted, as just like yanked inside. Your mother is. So have you? Well, like based on the time, have you had anything to eat?
Sorry, just to clarify, I'm not home for good. I'm home for now. I dropped
know,
some
but we
friends
need
at
to focus on the important things. You need some
I
food.
know.
Yes.
I dropped some friends up at the pub. Oh, Theodore says that you haven't both been there for a while, and you should remember that the pub exists. And I had like a piece of their bread with some garlic butter, but other than that, I've not had anything since. Like, I just
Rowan
think about when it was
Boulderhill.
probably breakfast.
We've talked about this. God, fucking piece of bread doesn't equate to a meal. You actually need to have a proper
At
meal.
least two.
At least no.
With stuff in between them.
Yes.
I know.
Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. Look, come in. Sit. Friends, hold on. There, you can see your mother's brain is probably trying to crawl out her ears at this stage, as sort of bits of the information that you've fed her are starting to now sort of click into place. And she's like, "Hold on, friends." Like how many? Like
it's a surprise, Ma.
Well, no, I mean, Rowan. To be fair, you've never been one to have like lots of friends. So, but how many friends are we talking about?
Sorry, just listening to the accent going for a walk. It's my favorite thing.
No,
mine does it. No, mine does it too. It's great, but no one notices mine. She's just gonna be like, I don't know. You told me that when I went out, I had to find people that I could trust that weren't gonna like be weird. So I found people that are gonna mean that it's fine and safe and it's not gonna be weird. No, are you gonna be weird about it, Ma?
I'm not going to be weird about it at all, but why didn't you bring them here?
Well, one of them's too tall to get through the doorway. Two of them are too tall to get through the doorway.
What sort of people are you hanging out with now?
Can I clarify? Terrace is a half orc.
Terrace is a hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, there's a hobgoblin, and you know that they can't get through the door. And then the other one's, I don't even know what the other one is, though. But he's like that kind of tall, so he'd have to be bent half in here, and that's not fair on anybody's back.
But I know what Tiernan is? Okay.
No, she has never had a conversation about like where you're from or what race you are. She knows what you look like, but it's not like she can go, oh, that's a dwarf, that's a hobgoblin. She's like, what are you? She's never been rude enough to ask that question to your face.
So at this stage, your father just puts a hand on your mother's shoulder and goes, Ma, just let Rowan come in, sit down, and breathe. Okay? She's been gone a while. Just give her a chance. I was like, all right, just I'll go and get. I've got some stew. We can get you some stew, and we've got some bread that I've made, and we can. We've got some of the that honey that you like. I'll get you all sorted out. And she like rushes off and starts. You can hear already like things clattering away in the kitchen. Your dad just gives you like the look of like,
I'm
you know
sorry,
what
I
your
should
mum's
have
like.
told you I was coming. I forgot that she gets like this when people have been away.
Puts his hands gently on your shoulders.
Promethean, that is a request that you now that the ham now has to honor.
Puts his hands just on your shoulders. And just goes, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I am fine. There's that. Have you heard anything about Harrow?
I mean, that's a very broad kind of question you're asking
The
there,
last
Rowan.
couple of days, Harrow, not like
Last couple of days. I mean, I've been off in Deep Cove until I only got back a couple of days ago. So no, not specifically. Why? What's going on in Harrow?
I don't really know, but there was some big kerfuffle between the like big wig fancy pants people, and sounds like some people are dead, and sounds like what's his face from Deep Cove's gonna come and be a
Just
jerk.
hold on. Just and he takes your hand and he leads you away from the kitchen.
From Mum.
where your
Yeah,
mother
that's what I
is.
was hoping was gonna happen. Yeah.
Takes you sort of off into a small living room and like sits you down and then sits beside you, takes another couple of sort of puffs on his pipe and he goes, "All right. People are dying. The rich, we're
I don't know. Okay, so, and she sort of like takes that breath of like, where do I even start with all of this? We were at the theater in Harrow, the big fancy one, the one that we walked past when we went to deliver the grain the last time, like when you showed me the cool big pretty buildings.
Oh, you right in the middle of the Dragon's Heart.
Yeah, so we were in there, and I don't know, there was some like explosion of, or I don't know what happened. It was theater. I thought it was like a special effect or something, and then everyone was screaming and running, and like people were dead apparently, and I don't know what happened. Anyway, and then like my friend who's now in town, she's in the inn. They were saying that her mum relationship link, her mum is dead. Is that the correct relationship link that I'm making in my head? Help.
For
Terrace's mum.
yes.
Yes.
Yep. Her ma got stabbed. I don't know all the details, all I know is Fancy Pants guy, Beckforth, the one in Deep Cove. Everyone thinks he's going to be real mad and do something stupid, and she says it in that way of like,
Yeah.
you know, someone's going to come and do something idiotic that like is going to affect a whole bunch of other people, but not realize how much it's going to affect everybody else because he's just on a bent of being a dick. He's Henry VIII thing it. It's the energy, basically. As
you say these things, and especially as you mention some of the names, and I guess especially as you mention the Beckforths, you just watch sort of the expression on your father's face go from sort of curiosity to concern to worry. And he's like, "Ro, what kind of trouble have you got yourself into this time?"
I'm not in trouble. I was not near any of it other than being in the theater, I guess. So technically I was near
the theater that you're
like,
saying, the one that like there was people got
I don't know.
killed.
I wasn't involved in the explosion, but like I don't know. And that's why I was like, okay, so if I come home, then we can make sure that you guys know what's going on. So that way the town, we need to talk to Rose, I think, because she'll need to know. But I didn't want to do that without telling you first, because then I didn't want to come to town and then not see you first and then get in trouble from Ma for not coming home first and talking to the mayor first and then leaving potentially without ever saying...
Right. Just breathe. Just okay. All right. Look. Really don't know what you've got yourself into here.
I am not involved, Da. I promise I'm not involved.
So you just happen to be around when
Yeah.
these things... But what about these friends of yours? I mean, have you fallen in with an unsavory bunch?
Da, if you want, we can go down to the inn. They're staying at the inn with Theodore.
Well...
I mean, Ma might be mad if we go before dinner, but...
Well, to be honest, I kind of don't want to tell your Ma about this. I
No,
think...
that's what I mean. Why don't we... Because if we have dinner first, then she doesn't have to know, because we can just say you and I are going down to the pub because Theodore said that he wanted you to come down to the pub more, and so you thought that would be a good idea, and then she can just stay here?
Make a persuasion roll.
Sure. Am I trying to persuade him, or am I trying to persuade my dad?
Yeah, make it you're dead, but make it with advantage because he's your dad.
I was gonna say if it's Daddy's girl, advantage roll.
Daddy's girl. Right. Now I'm just gonna check if any of my stupid features that I can never remember how all work do any stupid fun things that I forget about.
Just throw the occasional "I love you, Dad" in there.
I mean, basically, like she's like,
Yeah.
I'm telling you because I needed to come and tell you because you're important. All right. So is a 17 plus, you said persuasion?
Yeah.
Plus
lots.
4.
Yeah.
21.
Excellent.
Charismatic warlock fun things.
Ro, you go away and you come back and there's talk of fires and death and new friends.
I've still got me rock. I've still got me ring. She like takes it off and puts it next to it. It's like, I've still got all my stuff. I'm fine. I don't think the town's going to be if Captain Fancy Pants decides that he's going to come here on his way to Harrow. So I came home. She picks up her ring again and puts her rock back in her pocket.
Look, I think... Shite. I don't know what I think. Look, let's have dinner.
Mm-hmm.
We'll play nice, just for Ma. Make sure she doesn't get too stressed out. Then after that, you and I will go back down to the Riverman. I'll meet your friends. We'll tell Ma that it's for these good reasons.
We're just going to have a daddy-daughter time at the pub.
I know, but you've just literally got home. So you've got to accept the fact that your Ma might want to spend time with you too. So if she turns around and says, I want to come with you, we're just going to have to make that work.
Fine.
Okay. Now
She looks very much like the petulant put out, like, I just don't want to spend time with Mum at the pub. Like, we'll happily would spend time with Mum. Maybe not today.
Yeah.
But like, fine.
And you will behave.
I always behave.
Ro can tell by the expression on your face that already you're like, oh. No.
I didn't.
We're going to go have a nice meal with your Ma. We're not going to talk about any of this stuff.
No.
Then you and I will try and sneak off to the pub. And then tomorrow we'll go and we'll see Rose. And we'll go from there.
Okay. Can I question? What if... So I have a suggestion very quickly, Dad, on how we could maybe get to sneak out to the pub, but still have Ma be happy that she'll get to spend time with me.
Okay.
Oh, my friends are staying at the pub, but I told them that I was going to stay here. And so maybe I thought, because you will have to get up early to go do farming things, right? Regardless of whether we're going to see Ro or
This is
not.
correct. Mhm.
So I thought maybe I could say that I'll do breakfast things and stuff with Ma, and even go down and like do the groceries with her or something in the and she looks like
Yeah,
that is the most boring thing that she can possibly think of doing, because it's going to mean like all of Mum's friends are like, oh my god, you're home, and she just
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
deal with that idea.
Yeah.
But like she's gonna, that's the way to like help them get to the pub.
Look, it's you know your ma too well.
Mhm.
Let's go and eat, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
And with that, you stand up. He gives you another big hug.
That's his first big hug, technically.
First big hug.
Yeah.
Have missed you, Ro. It's good to see you home.
Thanks, Dad.
But this other stuff,
I know.
it's all right. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together.
Sounds good. Thanks,
Mm.
Dad.
And with that, we'll swing back around to the pub. Whilst I try and recover from doing an accent.
You did so good.
Hype for Ham, and if you want to throw bits and subs, this is the time to do it. Hype for Ham.
The rest of you guys, so Tiernan, Grumpfel, and Miera, is there anything you guys are doing whilst Delgrim's been off questioning people? Anything like that? There's no obligation to. I just wanted to make sure that you guys, if there's stuff that you wanted to do, now is the time to speak up.
I was going to go and have a bath.
Huh?
Yeah,
So you're
Floating around
bathing?
in the bath. Yeah.
Pretty true. Sorry, my brain had unbrained to that. So that's right. So Tiernan and Miera were bathing. Grumpfel, you're basically
Separately.
flying,
Yeah.
bathing.
We
Very
each got,
importantly,
we each got a
separately.
Separately.
clawfoot tub.
Yep.
And but Tiernan would probably ask what the house specialty beverage was. He'd be sipping it as he's laying in the tub.
There's actually a very, very nice red wine that gets imported from up north.
Oh, he's totally all over that.
Sorry?
He's totally all over that.
Yeah. So that's
He's getting used to this alcohol.
so that's 5 silver pieces for that. And if I can find, because I'm a stickler for this kind of thing. Where are we? It actually comes from a place called Balfour Bay, produced by the Varshawns. And actually, you can make a history roll for this.
Ooh. 25.
What was that?
25.
Wow, you finally
Incredible.
Wow.
He succeeds.
you finally roll over
most
10 on something which is
useless
actually
He's
not.
fucking check,
succeeds.
and you roll a 25.
Perfect.
Are you
First
kidding
roll
me?
was a 10.
Absolutely perfect.
Now he's going to keep
Wow.
rolling the
No
damn
notes.
things.
Wow,
Was that a nat 20?
That was
Oh
actually
my
19.
God.
19.
It's got to be
So-
a bingo thing,
No,
doesn't
no,
it?
seriously, I've been
Oh,
getting
geez, I think it
13 with
was,
a
yeah.
+6.
So Tiernan, whilst there are definitely certain parts of the world that you don't know much about, Cathar Baal actually passes very close to Balfour Bay on its trip south.
Ooh.
You know that Balfour Bay is actually it's not as big as Harrow, but it is one of the larger towns in Alamar, and it is ruled by one of the great houses of Alamar, which is the Varshawns. And you do also, because you rolled a 20 motherfucking 5, know that the Varshawns are actually in an alliance with the Beckforths.
Vachon. I don't have no idea how you spell that.
I'll give you
Just
some
send it to me.
spelling.
I'll-
Let's not put it there. Let's put it into some chats somewhere there. That'll do. But yeah, they're very, very famous in Alamar for the wines that they produce. Any wine that comes from Balfour Bay is looked at as highest quality.
Where is that? Is that up near Wayfields?
Sorry?
Where is the Belford Bay? Is that up near Wayfields?
No, it's literally like right at the very. I'd need. It's past Wayfields.
Oh, there it is. Yep, it's up
Yep.
near the river. Yep.
Grumpfel, what are you?
Yes.
What are you up to?
In this tavern, is there any religious icons anywhere on walls or near the door? Anything like that? Think like, guide dogs donation box or something like that.
Don't know.
No, there isn't.
Did we pass anything on the way through town? I forgot to ask that earlier.
Yeah, fair call.
And is it within a stone's throw of the tavern?
You probably would have
Or the inn?
seen maybe outside one or two of the shops the symbol for Negosus, which is the god of commerce and trade.
Nothing in this inn?
Nothing in the inn itself, no.
No, I think Grumpfel's pretty happy just chilling for the moment, enjoying the bread and whatever else is in front of him.
Bread, wine,
Yeah.
More
standard
bread.
day of the week.
Whilst everybody else is, well, I mean, Delgrim, you're sort of lurking as well. At one stage, Theodore comes out from behind the bar and goes over to the halfling at the piano. And as the rest of the patrons see him heading over there, it's quite weird because sort of a lot of the chatter and stuff just suddenly sort of drops off. People are still eating and drinking, but everyone sort of turns to look. And he sits down sort of on a tallish stool beside the piano, which is kind of weird because the piano's a little bit lower because it's the woman at it is a halfling. And she begins to play a fairly slow, quiet tune. And Theodore begins to sing. You guys have heard a few different performances in some of your travels and stuff. This is quite different. He's got a very deep baritone voice that just washes over you. The sense of the inn when you came in here, of that sort of that warm, comforting blanket, the socks, the slippers. This is like the warm cup of your favorite beverage that's put in your hand that just makes you feel content and relaxed. You've probably never heard anybody sing quite as well as this Goliath that is now serenading those within this inn. And you can see everybody here is very much rapt. They are paying full attention to this performance.
Just like better than Ophelia performance, or
you guys have seen Ophelia. You've seen the entire Mystic Delirium perform. They were excellent. This is better. This
hits different. This hits different.
There's just something. there is like a.
Oh, I'm so happy about this.
There's like an emotional core to this, which whilst like Ophelia and the Delirium kind of got partway there, this is something that you didn't even think could happen when you were listening to music. Like the song that she sang, like the song that he's singing, it doesn't have maybe some of the same emotional resonance that Ophelia's one did, which brought people to tears at that point in time. But there's just something else about this. It almost feels magical.
All I've got to like throw is bread. Like I don't have flowers or anything nice.
Well,
I think when
bread's made from flour, so
All I
maybe
have to
maybe
throw
it
is
works.
bread.
That's true.
Sorry.
Hit me there by half a
Yeah.
loaf. Ugh.
Yeah. Hang on.
Spoilers
Oh, I
for when we check when we check Kate show out, I guess.
No. God.
No, I think Delgrim will just applaud after the song's finished. Then, if it's
And
that's,
everyone in the tavern gives very polite but enthusiastic applause, and then they launch into another song, and basically for the next sort of half an hour or so or hour, they go through a number of tunes. First one started off quite slow, and they also slowly pick up and pace. It's almost like sort of easing into the experience. But it is obvious that Fyodor is exceptionally talented, and both Miera and Tiernan, like up in your baths upstairs, even you can hear the singing from where you are, and it's slightly muffled. But even for you guys, after the long trip, after everything you've been through, there's probably you'd have to be fighting the urge to not probably fall asleep in the bath with the warmth, everything that's been going on, and this singing coming from downstairs.
It would have a slightly underwater quality because I've got my head underneath the water. You know that you rest just your ears just below the water? Yeah.
Yep.
So roll against comfort, okay.
And they just continue for probably about an hour. Is there anything that you guys at the inn want to do whilst this is going on? I'm not sure if Delgrim, if you're still wanting to question the crap out of people, or
No, again, I think if Thea's last known location was Harrow, because I don't recall key aspects of the conversation to recall what's a red flag and what's not properly. But for the time being, no, he'll just park that as still a mystery and still needing to be unmysteried. But he doesn't get the sense he's going to get anything more from the people here.
Okay.
And Miera would like to inquire about whether there's anywhere that she could send letters from.
So we'll say that you did that prior to going up to the bath and stuff. That's cool. Fyodor would said that normally what happens with that is it depends. They don't have. They've got a very small guild of sending office here, and so there is some mail that they can send, but again, it depends on where you're trying to send it to. Most stuff, depending on where it's going. If it's going south, it'll go through Harrow. If it's going west, it'll go through Deep Cove. So it really just depends on the location, but they can probably organise something. Grumpfel, anything from you?
Nah, Grumpfel's pretty content with what's going on and listening to this, just surveying the crowd.
Yep.
Picking at the warm bread and just sipping at the. You said there was wine or spirits.
Yep. Any whatever beverage your heart desires, Grumpfel.
Whatever's there is fine.
Okay. Terrace is also still at the table. She seems she's definitely feeling, or you can definitely tell that she's actually, just before I do that, we'll call it crit and miss. Hey guys, thanks for coming and hanging out with us.
Hi, lovely beans.
You popping in at a super
Hello.
chill, super mellow moment.
Chilled everyone out with the best piece of world building Ham and I ever did.
Yeah. But Terrace is very, very quiet, and you can see she's very much entranced with this music as well. Very quiet. She's not drinking anything tonight. It appears that her one sort of binge session was sort of it. But she just seems to be sort of quiet and watching. So with that, swinging back around to Rowan, you and your parents have a lovely meal, with your mother asking you a million different questions.
I think she probably tells stories of like before she met up with this ragtag bunch of people, but also like so that there's some newer stuff peppered in. She throws in stuff about like the fireworks in Greenfield.
Yeah.
Not the bit about how she didn't see them, but like that they like, oh, some fireworks got stolen and I helped for the town to get them back, and then it was really cool because it helped with their festival and that was really fun. Like that kind of energy of I've done some helpful things for other people and other places, and like less about like what's more recent, but more like
and
placatory, happy, write home in a letter type stuff.
Yeah, and you can see your dad kind of watching in anticipation of what you may or may not say, in case he needs to kind of swing in and change subject.
Like you don't trust me, Dad. God.
But at the conclusion of the meal, the two of you, with the plan that you came up with, especially with you agreeing to go out with your mum in the morning, and going and meeting some of her friends and getting some of the supplies for the week. She seems more than happy with that. Was there anything in particular that you wanted to sort of like ask or talk to your parents about before we sort of roll back around again, or?
She'd probably do the sort of, I assume that like I should probably ask about Dad's trip to Deep Cove or like wherever he's been, and like if there's any fun news that Mum has about like, the sort of stuff that gets someone else talking about themselves rather than her being the only one telling stories, sharing stories.
Yeah.
And keeping it a 2-way or 3-way bouncing conversation.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, your dad's more than happy to talk about, business with Deep Cove. He says that it's, trade's doing pretty well. He says, sort of nothing unusual in that respect. Deep Cove's as busy as always is, and he still doesn't like going there. He finds it a distasteful city, especially considering sort of the political nature of it. And that's something which sort of gets touched on a little bit. Like, again, it sort of reinforces to you that like both of your parents have got no interest in the shenanigans of the various nobility or great houses. It's all stuff which they think is a waste of time and effort. Your mother talks about, the various goings on around the village, the town, I should say, so-and-so's got married, so-and-so had a new child, town's slightly getting bigger, they're building some more houses on the outskirts, just sort of the general kind of, oh, look, this is the fun stuff that's going on.
Yeah, when she talks about the like friends, like I assume it's like her friend so-and-so whose daughter is my age getting married. Do I get any of the sense of like you should be energy from Mum?
There is a sense of, because you've commented that you're there with friends, and there's probably a little bit of fishing of, friends. Oh, cool. Are any of them like your age? Are any of them, are there anyone that's more than a friend, Rowan? Are there any halflings? No. What,
like, and she probably get, oh, I mean, Miera's the only halfling. She's from, and like as soon as she says she, I assume Mum's face goes, oh, and just like change, like.
Well, I mean,
nope.
I don't, I
not like in the sort of like the brain goes,
Yeah.
Oh, like
Yeah.
no,
Yep.
like that's a friend. That's nice.
Yeah. Then what about any? I mean, but are there any, boys or Miera's any halfling? But I mean, maybe there's,
Can I clarify, Heath? Would I know roughly how old you are if I was to look at you and guess?
Grumpfel, I think, Ham, did
How
we
would
have
you
him that
look?
it's early 80s?
you look at it's
He's
You look
the uncle,
like
the uncle age.
yeah,
So-
cool. No, that's the point is like what roughly what you look like. So like, oh yeah, I mean Grumpfel is like 80 or something. I don't know. He's old. Like she's deliberately not talking about anyone that her parents could grab onto.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
deliberately like, yeah, this Miera, she's nice. Grumpfel's old. Like,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
do I get mum to go away?
Yeah. No. And there's like you can see that she's happy that you've got friends. There's maybe a tiny bit of disappointment that maybe there's not someone special, grandkids on the way or anything like that, but at which time your father probably swings in and uses that as an excuse to break you guys out from the conversation and insists that he takes you down to the pub and that you get some daddy-daughter time and that he can go. And your mum's a bit disappointed she doesn't get to see friends first, but let's make sure you bring them around tomorrow. Want to see this Miera and this Grumpfel and anything else you might know. So with that, you and your da head off towards the Riverman. The rest of the group is there, enjoying the music from Fyodor. This is a fairly sort of peaceful, well, this is probably the most peace that you guys have had in a while now, considering the shenanigans of Harrow recently. So looking at the time, we're going to slowly wrap this up and then think ahead of the next session where Rowan's going to get to introduce her dad to the party.
Hey
Oh,
guys,
God.
meet my dad.
And then the group is going to need to start to think about where to next from here. What are the plans? You've come here. There's probably going to be conversations with the mayor about what's been going on. But after that, what are you guys going to be wanting to do? Where are you guys going to be wanting to go? Is it a gem mine to go investigating so you can try and generate some money to help out Greenfields? Or
I'd be curious how we would be able to get to said gem mine. We have to pass
Walk.
Harrow again.
well, I mean, to be fair, there is like miles and miles and miles and miles of open countryside on either side. So
Now, that just
pretty,
sounds like baited trap.
I'm pretty confident that you guys could probably navigate your way around that. But look,
Are you pretty confident?
I am. Well, I mean, this is to be fair. I mean, if it's Delgrim leading the way, you guys will probably get lost based on his role. So yeah, true. That's a
How
fair call.
very dare you accurately describe the likelihood of that happening.
Harsh. But we will wind it up there, and you guys can have a ponder about where to next. So yeah, I'm just having a quick look at the chat.
Ellen is saying that my mum
Yeah.
sounds like her mum, and knowing her mum.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yep.
I'm
that's-
sorry,
yep.
or I'm not sorry, or
Her mum is
I'm not-
lovely, but
Hey, Mama Slubby, there you go. Excellent.
yep.
Boom. Done. Nailed it.
I know exactly what she means.
I just find it hilarious how Rowan's mum's trying to ship her with some of the party members.
Oh yeah.
Are there any boys? It's like, oh
Well,
god.
look, I mean, they live in a town. They, grandkids. Like it's a thing.
She just wants someone to be the grandbaby daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, by the way, there was a very specific reason why I decided that the nickname that Rowan has for her father is Da and not Daddy, because I
Daddy.
could not deal with
No.
calling Ham Daddy the entire way through
Look,
this
again,
storyline.
I wouldn't hate hearing it said.
I would. I'd hate saying it.
Yeah, I think I would possibly feel slightly
Oh my
uncomfortable
God,
as
yeah, I
well.
know.
So.
I figured we'd go with just Ma and Da for everyone's
And
sanity.
it makes sense for Rowan. I feel like it
Yeah.
fits. It fits Rowan. I think.
Wait
Ma
until
and
he's
Da and Rowan.
I'm
It
just
isn't
glad.
a ship; it's an entire
No,
fleet.
That's a good question. I haven't even considered that for Tiernan and his parents.
What do you call your folks?
Mr. and
Yeah.
Mrs. DeParlin.
given
Sir and
the
ma'am.
I'm looking forward to what does Delgrim call his dad?
Missing,
Daddy.
Deceased.
Oh,
lost, gone, dead, probably.
he went out to get
Oh,
milk and he
food.
never came back.
Hashtag
the,
Did
spoilers.
he call him? Better question. Papa?
with the wash of accents we have going with the wash of accents we have going on, I'm glad no one has an Austrian accent because who is your daddy and what does he do?
So on the subject of I don't even know what anymore. So favorite bits to from tonight's fairly chill episode. I am going to start with Mr. Promethean.
Oh, hey. Mine's easy. So I've said a bunch of times, I think parties don't need names, but I'm very happy that we now have one, and it is the sewers. That I think that was my favorite moment from tonight.
I liked what did Ellie B had a great one that was like something in the tiny troubadours, which I thought was great.
I
The
think
three
the
tiny
sewers
troubadours.
will stick around like a bad smell.
Tavis Tiernan and the Tiny Troop or something.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Terrace Tiernan and the troop of tiny troubadours. I was like, that's great, love that. Tiernan Terrace and the troop of tiny troubadours. There it is. Yeah, good.
So that's terrible.
TT.
4T for short. Yeah,
Or-
because once we lose
Um,
Terrace, it'll be 4Ts.
John, what about you?
Oh, inability to roll over 10, except when it completely doesn't matter.
25 on a random pointless
Yep.
history check. That was so good.
The history of
But
this
you
wine
can
is
roll
so
over a
pivotal
10.
to the story, though.
But look, maybe there's some nuggets of useful information that's hidden in there, though.
Oh, I wrote it down just in case.
Yeah, look.
I guess favorites moments. Probably realistically, just Rowan. When we've come into town and everyone's greeting her and so forth, the whole anticipation of the party is like, oh, she's not dead. You know,
Yeah.
we're all like,
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
would you know if you were dead unless someone pointed it out?
Can you imagine if I had have had it where like you guys walk through town and just no one acknowledges she's there at all.
Or they all start screaming.
And you go into the
Oh.
inn and no one asks her for food.
To be very clear, if that had happened, I would have gone straight to my parents' house, not gone to the pub first.
Yeah.
Been like,
Yeah, who are you talking to?
And,
Wait,
and Delgrim would have followed you. Under
Yeah,
those
no, everyone would have come. There was
circumstances.
like, yeah.
after
I
Delgrim
feel-
had finished losing his mind, he would have followed.
Yeah.
Part of me is just like, oh, there's been such anticipation around, is she actually alive? Is she dead? What's going on? It's like, oh, okay, what next?
Badly
Cass.
rewriting backstory.
Yeah. No, look, there's shutting up. Cass.
Mhm.
I think tonight there was a couple of good things. I really enjoyed the description of Tiernan being sponge and Delgrim being mudcake. that was good.
Do I at least get a cream filling? Come on.
No, just plain vanilla.
Can you not?
Yeah.
But sure.
What's this, love? Sponge cake. What's this on top? Icing sugar. See, kids.
That was
Oh,
good. And
God.
and I also liked the whole Delgrim not so subtly telling people, yeah, there's a problem, there's civil war in Harrow, but
It's
we'll find
fine.
out about it later.
Yeah, I'll let someone
Everything's
else give you all the
fine.
details. The worst possible thing is going to happen, but I can't really say because
Yeah,
There's
look, I
civil
really
war,
respect
sleep well.
I really
Yeah.
can't talk about this, but allow me to talk about this real
Yeah.
quick.
probably kill you in the morning. But anyway, bye.
Yeah.
Fucking just.
Most likely kill you in the morning.
Heath.
Yeah, Delgrim's fascination with Rowan and coming into town is definitely good. His ability to disseminate something that's a secret that he can't tell anyone about, that was great. I've got a hat tip to Cass and Miera's persuasion ability of trying to convince the tavern owner in Harrow to let us set up a committee meeting in the kitchen / storage room.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that was good.
Oh, dear me. Cool. I really liked with Kate, your other commitments that you've had recently, and then all the, I was going to say something, but I'm going to reword that, but all of the situations with you being inside the ring,
All
it's
of the
been
sudden
nice.
disappearings of Rowan, yes.
Yeah, it's been nice to kind of bring some of sort of the Rowanness to the forefront, get a bit of sort of backstory stuff, some history there.
Heck yeah.
Awesome to be able to sort of bring that the like you said, the world building that we did to the forefront. And one of the things that I really liked was, and it's one of the reasons why I've wanted to do sort of the world building with people, especially with their hometowns, is so that you can go, cool, I want to go to here and I'm going to talk to this person as if you know this is your place, this is where you're from, and it makes it feel more sort of organic and stuff.
Yeah, drop us off, piss off to.
The
Bye.
whole chat with the bartender first.
Great.
Great.
Oh,
Love
well,
Theodore the Goliath. He
there
the
was
best.
no way in hell you were
best-
letting us back to your parents.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you
Can you-
met you? No.
Say yeah.
For the best.
Hi,
Did
I'm
I set you up
Delgrim.
with booze and food and then go, okay, I'll be back, bye?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, I did.
I was
I mean,
actually
you,
waiting.
you left us in a place where we could purchase food and booze for ourselves.
I was actually waiting for the way you introduced everyone was Miera, and then Grumpfel's old, and the other two are blue and grey.
Do you honestly
waiting
think
for
that
that last
blue
little
or
bit.
grey was going to be the problem point for my mother?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it probably caused her to question a few things.
Kate, I don't think I asked you what your
No, you
favorite
didn't.
bits were.
I liked seeing the other stuff we'd built about Theodore come to the fore. So the piano playing and the music stuff, which I'm sure will come up more later. But I liked seeing some of that world building come out. And also just like you doing accents. Yay!
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 I must admit, there was part of it that was just like, how much can I put off actually getting to your parents? Because
Nope.
I'm getting fucking wild anxiety from trying to do this.
Ham,
And don't you feel
Ham,
better now you've ripped the band-aid off?
Sure.
Ham, you missed a massive opportunity to not do an accent and say, oh, but people with the same accent don't hear the accent, so there is no accent.
Then I would have had a
Stop right
strong
there.
accent though, and it would have been weird.
So So
It's just hanging out with Kate and Ham.
I'm just waiting for the situation now where like somehow we have to get like Abrasaur and Rowan's parents in the same room, and I've got to do two different accents.
Incredible.
And if you try and do that at any stage, I'll just kill the party. So
I
And-
mean,
and-
you've got to still decide what Rose's accent is, Ham, because you're gonna have Rose and Dad in the same room.
oh
with us.
fuck.
So
Yeah,
sorry.
That'll be a conversation. We'll figure that out.
Just make
Um,
him pull himself away for a private convo or something.
Yeah. Yep.
And
As
that's when
always, anyone in the chat with anything that they want to throw into the mix before we pull the plug on this evening?
A general appreciation for Theodore is what I'm seeing.
Is great.
Mhm.
Theodore is wonderful. Much approval.
Now all I can think of is the chipmunks.
Yeah, Theodore and Alvin and the
Mhm.
other one,
Simon.
Simon. The one I can never remember
Simon.
because his name is really boring.
Yeah.
You just got to remember the intro scene.
No. So this is the problem. I don't remember the intro. I just remember Alvin and Theodore
Yeah.
as an image, and then I don't remember what the other one is called
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
Like it
There's
doesn't.
just a giant gap there.
I guess it depends upon what you're remembering. I'm remembering the 90s, not the.
No, more that like my image of it is not the intro. My image of it is like photographs of it, not the
Yeah.
intro theme. It's not what plays when I think of one of the Chipmunks. So
Alvin, Simon,
thank-
and Theodore.
yeah, I
Simon
can just
is-
never remember Simon. He's the one in the middle.
Simon,
That's the
oh my
problem.
The
God.
glasses.
The
What do you think I
glasses.
remembered?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
tall
Yeah.
glasses guy.
All right. Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to throw, because otherwise I'll get yelled at by Promethean. That is the link for my Fringe show. It's in the chat now. If you want it, it's there. I'm not promoting it anymore because I don't have rights yet, and I'm terrified. So like, there it is though. If you want to buy it, it's on when PAX is on. If you're in Melbourne,
You'll get them
Do
and
that,
it'll be
please.
fine. And it's gonna
I
be a
sold
good time.
7 tickets so far, and I have 400 and something to sell. So
If you get tickets, don't forget to bring some bread to throw
Yes.
at Kate. on
Please
my
don't throw
God,
bread
can
at
we-
me.
at the
Croissants
end
can go
of
very
the
far.
show.
Note to self: leave stage at end of show. Never come
Yeah.
back.
Just entire loaves of rye bread being lobbed from the
God,
audience.
Can I make a recommendation? That would not look good for anyone throwing bread, given the themes of the show.
Yeah.
That's gonna look really bad.
Okay,
Well-
do not throw bread at Kate, please.
Yeah.
Please don't
Yeah.
set that into the
Yeah.
world.
Just have a little sign out the front of the theatre beforehand. Please no throwing of bread.
No
at the
bread
performance.
throwing.
All right. As always, thank you to Saz, who lurks in the background, pulls terrible faces at us, does all sorts of horrible, nasty things because she's an
Yeah.
evil person, but is
Shout
also
out to
wonderful.
Saz.
If anyone needed someone flips the bird, Saz just the bill of us behind the
She did
scenes,
flip the bird, so
you can
bingo.
tick that off. the
Whoa.
bingo card.
So thank you, Saz, for doing all of the technical stuff because it is like just super friggin' awesome. Thank you to everyone who actually hangs out with us in the chat, who comes and watches. If you were new tonight, all the previous episodes are up on YouTube. So if you want to catch up and understand half of the shit that's been going on, go and check that out. Otherwise, we hope that you come back in a fortnight's time because we do this every fortnight. But as always, just thank you for gifting us your time. Time's super valuable and people are choosing to spend it with us. And that's really nice. So thank you.
Ooh, next episode's episode 20.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big things are expected, Ham.
Yep. Oh, trust me, I don't have anything specific planned.
Okay, so burning down river. Got it.
Yeah. How many other towns can you guys
Oh,
torch?
no. Hey,
All right.
we did not torch anything, thank you.
Oh yeah, we
Well,
did.
actually,
That
it
was
was
hold on,
technically-
Delgrim.
Oh, wait,
Mansion.
sorry.
Oh well, yeah,
Yeah.
Delgrim did.
No, you're absolutely right. I totally did. I'm
You
sorry.
totally did.
Rowan's mum plays matchmaker to Tiernan and Tavis.
And
Oh,
what age
look,
group would you say your parents are in, Rowan?
Sorry.
What age group would you say your parents are in? They're not considered elderly, are they?
I wouldn't have said so.
No.
No.
Then they
Oh,
should
but
be
you
safe
but
around
you're happy to
Delgrim,
say
it's fine.
but you say you're happy to call Grumpfel elderly, right? Okay.
Well, look,
Well,
you know.
You did. That's why I did.
Yeah.
Because you said it. You said the
Old,
words.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, oh shit, that's right.
Yeah,
That's
like-
creepily asking about the elderly.
All right, we're gonna raid out to someone.
I'm sprightly, thank you.
Who are we raiding out to? Oh, Voice Beyond.
Uh,
Yeah, Miera doesn't need
Who's
to
that?
use
What's that
sleep on
voice?
Grumpfel.
person I was going to recommend is just.
You put yourself to sleep.
That's it. And there was it.
When she said put them to sleep, I just imagined like a pillow. I'm like,
Whoa.
God. Okay, quick, please. We
let me-
desperately
let
need to
me-
go and raid someone. This is.
Yeah, let me
getting
tell
out
you
of
about
hand.
the time with the. I believe.
Let's
Okay.
do that.
It's a good idea.
All right, we're gonna go and visit some Kiwis because Kiwis are awesome. Okay.
Except for one that I know of. Ugh, gross.
potato
he's
hater.
a real dick, isn't he?
Mm.
God, what
It's on like chips.
a because they're made from potatoes. Potatoes suck.
See you later, guys.
Yeah. All right, we're going now. Are we
Oh,
ready?
man.
Are we ready?
Guys.
Is
And
this
then
the awkward
wave
part?
awkwardly.
Awkward banter.
No,
I love that there's a
nothing
little while
awkward
ago.
about
But yeah. Woo!